where at the plenary sessions here we will deliberate on peace and security issues in support of African mediation efforts and the actions of the African Union in this very historic event here. Remember, as I mentioned earlier, this is day one, and day one is happening at the University of Nairobi. We do have day two, which is tomorrow, the summit itself, which will happen at the Kenyatta International Convention Center in Nairobi. There, the heads of state, the African Union, 30 plus presidents and CEOs will have plenaries, roundtables, and we'll even have the Nairobi Declaration that is going to culminate in a closing communique at the KICC. But here at day one, here at the University of Nairobi, we have around 1,500 business leaders, entrepreneurs, and investors in business-to-business matchmaking deals looked into. We have also workshops and networking here at the University of Nairobi. If you come to these grounds, it is very impressive. It has been divided into several centers. We have other plenary areas, like I said earlier, the Business Forum, which is at the Jomo Kenyatta Library, where business deals are said to be struck there, and we also have business leaders who will give their statements, will give their talks there, and give a status of how business is in Africa and beyond. That is where some sort of elevator pitches will happen in that section there at the Business Forum at the Jomo Kenyatta Library in the University of Nairobi. So far, what's happening now is delegates are just settling in. We do have the Kenya Police Band also just entertaining the delegates that are around. We expect the president to enter the plenary hall at any moment, and we are also looking forward to other delegates still filing through. Security is very tight, I should mention this. Only accredited individuals are allowed in several sections of these grounds. Delegates have different kind of passes. Only specific passes to the plenary hall here in Taifa Hall are allowed in this hall, and other badges are allowed in the business forum. And if you were trying to make your way to this venue, it is only if you're accredited for this particular forum. Otherwise, there is very tight security all the way from University Way to Harituku Road, which has been cordoned off for delegates. That is the VIP entrance for delegates. Other members of the public are entering from the University Way side, but only accredited members of the public are being allowed inside to witness this historic summit here at the University of Nairobi today, as we wait for every other eventuality to unfold here. And remember, this summit is happening in Kenya for the very first time. It has not happened in an English-speaking country ever before, and Kenya is looking to also angle itself to be a major destination for business deals, conferencing, and all that is pertaining to being the Silicon Savannah that it has made itself to be. We do have a very compact, a very condensed program coming in through this plenary hall. Remember, this Taifa Hall is now holding a youth forum. That's why you may see some youth seated at the stage there. These are youth representatives. We have at the main stage the youth forum happening, and which will also come in after the opening ceremony here at the main stage. We also have a high-level youth engagement sequence that's supposed to happen at this time, where youth leaders and entrepreneurs and ministers are supposed to, speak and give their sentiments to the delegates. We also have lined up a dynamic CEO and business leader talks, where we have various group CEOs talking about the agro industry, fertilizers, logistics, manufacturing, digital infrastructure, skills, energy, entrepreneurship. These are topics that are very pertinent to industrialization and also where many youth are involved in. We also have lined up some high-level cultural and creative industries presidential sequences that are going to happen here at the main stage. And of course, We do expect presidential remarks on cultural and creative industries, where we'll have Dr. William Ruto, the President of Kenya, and Emmanuel Macron, the President of the French Republic, who will actually give his keynote address at that time. Here we'll also have a high-level dialogue as a driver of economic transformation, soft power, and Africa-France cooperation. That will be, of course, President Macron, who is going to deliberate on that. And then also we'll have a showcasing of African creative champions in film, music, fashion, gaming, heritage, and digital content. We'll have various artists who are going to speak to that as well. And then we'll also have ministerial meeting on peace and security later in this hall. We also have some high-level, ministerial level strategic dialogue on UN Security Council reform. Remember, we have very high-level UN leadership here represented in the country, of course, who are going to talk about the strategic, the security situation around the world, and council reform and the use of a veto. We also have a pre-summit preparatory session ahead of the day two activities, and that one will be taken over by the African Union Commission that will take us through that session. Then in the afternoon, we do have high-level dialogues where we'll also have sports in Africa. I know you've noticed the angle of these activities today. It's leaning more on creatives and art and what many for a long time have not really taken as mainstream. These days, creatives and sports are very, very serious and economic drivers of growth, and that's why we'll have high-level dialogues on the same. We'll have two themes: Africa as a sports field serving a sustainable development, and also Africa as a field of investment, innovation, and growth through sports. Here we'll have various ministers of sport speaking. We also expect our very own Minister for Sport to speak. Right now, I think it's only fair that we also listen in to what is happening here at the plenary session as we wait for other activities to happen here at the Taifa Hall in the University of Nairobi. Let's listen in to what delegates are talking about here at the main plenary hall. Welcome.
This, by 2030, is actually expected as $1 trillion industry for Africa. So we clock that.
She said, clock it if you think agriculture is going to be $1 trillion industry. Yeah, clock it. There we go. I absolutely agree. Agribusiness, the fact that we used to think of agriculture as something that is done in rural areas or is done by older folks. And it's like, no, essentially you have to feed the continent one way or the other. So I'm really interested in knowing actually how in Zambia we're turning agribusiness into $1 billion trillion industry. But thank you so much for engaging with me. I'll hand over to the police band for just one song, and then when we come back, we'll have the presidents in the room, and we can actually begin the program of the day. There's some amazing panels, one around AI and innovation, which again, for sure, $1 billion industry. But how do we make sure that it is $1 billion industry that works for us, right? We're not just like the cog that's moving the wheel and making nothing out of it. And then we'll also talk about how to platform Africa on a global stage. What do African voices look like on a global stage? There's Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie's TED Talk, The Danger of a Single Story. I know several people here are familiar with it, right? Yeah. So who's telling the story? How are they telling it? How do we make sure that we have ownership of our narratives? Those will be President Ruto and President Macron's panels. But before that, let me hand over to the police band.
You are listening to the Kenya Police National Band just entertaining delegates here at the University of Nairobi, which is hosting the Africa Forward Summit 2026. We are live here on KBC Channel 1, just giving you an all-rounded, spherical, direct view of what is happening here, where we expect very high-level delegations, including heads of state and government, to come under the high patronage of President Emmanuel Macron and President Dr. William Ruto, who co-organized this event, which is called Africa Forward, and it is themed Inspire and Connect Africa. And of course, it is supposed to bring together more than 1,500 economic and institutional leaders from Africa and France here at the University of Nairobi today. Of course, speaking about serious international issues, where we'll also talk about the financial architecture, which has been a very big thorn on the flesh of African states. We are waiting for the program to proceed, and as earlier mentioned, we will have a lot of thematic areas to be touched on. But at this specific area, at Taifa Hall at the University of Nairobi, we have the Youth Engagement Forum that is supposed to take place because, of course, youths are heavily involved in entrepreneurship, in the digital transformation space, in agri-tech, and these are some of the areas that, in fact, many businesses are looking to engage in and make some deals. You can imagine the startups and the small businesses looking to link with the French companies. Already in Kenya alone, we have about 140 French companies that are based here, from agriculture to retail to technology to agribusiness. All of them are here, and of course there are others that are looking at Kenya as a stepping point into the continent and are looking to come into the space by connecting with the various CEOs and agencies to take advantage of this. And what we can tell you right now is that President Emmanuel Macron has actually entered the premises. He's making his way through the UN grounds. He's arrived. He's about to just pass through the main entrance of the University of Nairobi, Akwe, where there is a model building of the engineering complex, the proposed engineering complex of the University of Nairobi, which is co-funded by the French aid agency. Therefore, he's going to be shown the model. He's just making his way inside, greeting a few delegates on the way. Of course, the pictures are going to come to you very, very soon if they're not there yet. Yes, he is in the premises. Now we can confirm to you Dr. President William Ruto and President Emmanuel Macron are now both in the University of Nairobi grounds, and therefore it means that the program is about to accelerate at this point, since the two cohorts are now available. We can also see a lot of press now. Yes, we can see Dr. William Ruto and Emmanuel Macron now looking at the engineering complex model, the proposed engineering complex model. Just taking a look at them and looking at the various amenities that the complex will encompass. Dr. William Ruto is just showing Emmanuel Macron how the complex will eventually be after it is completed. The proposed engineering and science complex, that is how it's being called. It is going to be built under the University of Nairobi and co-financed with the government of Kenya and a French aid agency. That is where the presidents are now at this point. We believe after that the two presidents will head to a tree planting exercise just in the grounds. If you know the University of Nairobi very well, it's at the Chandarana grounds, just next to the Taifa Hall, where we actually will have the presidents come in later and also give their address. Emmanuel Macron is supposed to give his keynote address here at the Taifa Hall. And the program so far is moving in that order. Here at the main stage, as we wait for the two presidents to look at the model. On your screens, you can see President Emmanuel Macron and Dr. William Ruto, including also the Chancellor of the University of Nairobi, being taken through the proposed engineering and science complex, being shown the various amenities there that will be showcased once the project is completed. And you can see they're paying very keen attention to see how this is going to be transformative, especially for the youth of this country. The people on the STEM subjects here in the country are set to benefit from such a project. And of course, it also shows the kind of relationship we do have with the French Republic, as the French Republic looks to also diversify its influence around the globe. The issue of friendship in partnership in equal footing, that is even what brought about the Africa Forward Summit, which is themed as the Africa-France Partnership for Innovation and Growth Summit. So you will hear a lot of issues of innovation and growth and economic growth being said here at the summit, all the way from artificial intelligence to technology to agribusiness to also peace and security, which is essential for the growth of these sectors. We'll also talk about manufacturing. There will be talk about as I said earlier, the financial architecture of how Africa can access capital. Remember, Africa has unfortunately been in the back footing when it comes to financing of its projects and growth and financing budgets, where many financial institutions further afield give Africa a different rating from the rest of the world, giving Africa a higher risk rating, which means payback of loans become more expensive for African countries. Those are some of the topics that will be talked about here at the Africa Summit. And this morning we will be looking to also talk about the dynamic agro industry and how we can do digital infrastructure and how we can do, of course, the issue of job creation, skills and entrepreneurship. How can our youth get these skills to proceed and make something out of themselves using digital skills, for example. High-skilled youth to venture into their own and build up to the level of regional and also international. We do have a lot of startups in this region, and remember, Kenya is ranked very highly when it comes to tech, and it is the Silicon Savannah, and many will come into this country to understand how is it that Kenya leads in digital innovation. Speak of M-Pesa, speak of banking and finance, digital banking and finance, fintechs. It is an awe for the rest of the world to understand how Kenya does this, and to even see that the youth of Kenya are the ones building these companies, and the French will also look to see how they can integrate this into the French ecosystem. Yesterday, KBC Channel 1 was able to speak to some of the leaders who lead the business sector in France, and they said they're very interested to give Kenyan companies incentives in France, talking about the nuclear energy that France has, which means and translates to lower cost of production. If a Kenyan company is looking to manufacture in France, then they're looking at one of the most cheapest energy costs in Europe. And the business leaders told us that it will be one of the many incentives that France is willing to give Kenyan entrepreneurs and business leaders once there's a reciprocal partnership between France and Kenya. And we continue to see President Dr. William Ruto and President of France, Emmanuel Macron, just been shown the model of the engineering and science complex. The proposed complex is going to be under the University of Nairobi, and they're just talking about how probably this is going to be an opportunity for all of us. It is interesting to note that currently STEM is very strong in this part of the world, and we're looking at enrolling more students into this sector. This can lead to strengthened science courses, strengthened industries, strengthened businesses in that sector that the president has always talked about, that we do need a lot of us who can be able to engineer ourselves into these courses to build a stronger country. And remember, as we balance the creative industry and also the STEM industries just in the same republic. And of course, remember, as I said earlier, today we are going to talk about the creative industry, arts, music, film. That will be in the agenda actually in this plenary hall at the Taifa Hall later. We will also talk about several ministerial sports demonstrations. We will have sports ministers from all over the continent and beyond coming together to speak about what they are doing to make sure sports and the creative industry grows in their part of the world. We will also much later, have the two presidents speak. And right now we are seeing that the national anthem will also be cued in a bit later when the two presidents come into the Taifa Hall. We are seeing the Kenya Police National Band still entertaining delegates in the Taifa Hall as our presidents continue asking several questions about this model. You might wonder, how come they are still there now? But this is a serious issue. They're probably investigating and asking about the complex in a very high-level manner, just to be sure that this is something that is actually going to happen and will benefit both our countries. It's a very monumental moment at this time to look at the engineering and sports complex. Engineering and science complex. Now the two presidents are making their way slowly after being shown the model of the complex. They are making their way to the tree planting exercise. We do expect them to do a ceremonial tree planting right here outside the Taifa Hall main stage, just to commemorate the momentous occasion of opening the Africa Forward Summit, the one of its kind, first ever held in an Anglophone country. And Kenya is fortunate to have been chosen to hold this very important event. We have seen several leaders of government as well. We have seen principal secretaries, we've seen CEOs of major companies, director generals of state agencies, not even Kenya alone, but from the rest of Africa and beyond. It's a culmination of minds, captains of industry coming together to deliberate on how best they can move the continent forward. You can feel it. You can feel it. You can feel it's different this time. This time around, it's different. Africa is looking to enter the world in a different footing, not from a footing of being disadvantaged, but as an equal partner in economic growth. And that is what they have been looking to do in one shared agenda. Remember, day one will also encompass a business forum where 1,500 businesses are meant to meet and speak on issues, especially on political and industrial conditions for producing more and a better Africa. And we'll also, of course, they will also talk about strategic sectors that strengthen the continent's economic sovereignty. They also look to talk about innovations that boost African competitiveness. We are lucky enough that Kenya is already known for innovation and competitiveness in that sector. So others are coming to learn about how Kenya does it. We'll also talk about how we can have stronger alliances and mobilize funds essential for collective success. Right now, we continue to see delegates entering the Taifa Hall plenary hall. Several members of government, high-level leaders from the French government coming in. We can also see several leaders from the continent and beyond. Right now, the presidents are entering the Taifa Hall. As you can see, the delegates just rising in respect of the same. And then the national anthem will, of course, play once they enter. Right now, the presidents outside the hall are still doing some commemoratory tree planting exercise right now. President Macron just been shown around the grounds by Dr. William Ruto about one or two things before they enter the Taifa Hall, plenary hall. After the tree planting exercise, we do expect the two presidents to enter the hall, and then the program shall continue. Indeed, they are now slowly making their way into the hall, where we expect everything to start forthwith with the program. They will give the keynote addresses, especially the keynote address will be given by President Emmanuel Macron. As we wait for the two presidents to enter the hall, what you are seeing right now are the delegates just paving the way there. Waiting, and the protocol also just making sure everything is in order as the VIPs enter. At this point, I shall indeed hand you over to Taifa Hall as the president make their way inside the hall, where we will also hear the Kenya National Police Band play the national anthem. And we continue with the program. My name is Alan Aoko, as we continue showing you these live pictures of the two presidents in the Taifa Hall here at the University of Nairobi. Welcome and enjoy this live and direct feed from the University of Nairobi.
Let us kindly take our seats. Your Excellencies, for a moment there with the national anthems, it sounded like we were in a concert, hence the claps. Your Excellency, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of Kenya, Your Excellency, President Emmanuel Macron. This morning, allow me to start off the program with inviting Professor Patrick to do a very brief welcome to the university before we start our panel discussions. Professor Patrick, kindly if you can come and just do the quick welcoming remarks. Let's welcome him with a clap, please. Professor, welcome.
Youthquake. For the young people in the audience, 3 things. 1, did you know every single month across Africa, 1 million young people like yourself come to the labor market? Youthquake. Number 2, did you know that only 1 of 4 of those 1 million people coming to the labor market finds a formal job? Youthquake. Number 3, did you know there are 2 global leaders this morning inaugurated the first ever science and engineering complex, combining you with industry, with research, to create what? 3 things. Jobs, jobs, jobs. And it is these 2 leaders, President Ruto, you're one of us from the University of Nairobi. Thank you so much for your leadership in driving this agenda. And it is you, President Emmanuel Macron, may I say boldly, the strongest friend of Africa. Why? By putting your money where your mouth is and delivering this science complex. Thank you so much of coming to the University of Nairobi. This initiative, finally, is not just for Nairobi. It's not even just for Kenya. It's the prototype for Africa. Thank you for your leadership. Thank you so much.
What a great way to start. Another round of applause for Professor Patrick. Your Excellencies, at this point, allow me to now hand over this particular session to Mariam Bishar. Mariam is a media personality and journalist who connects with Kenya's young audience and has experience moderating. A clap for her, please, as she comes now to take over the session. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mike. Thank you. It is my honor to welcome you, Rais William Samoei Ruto, His Excellency Rais wa Jamhuri ya Kenya, and President de la République Française, Emmanuel Macron. It is my honor to welcome all of you to the Africa Forward Summit 2026, being held for the very first time in a non-Francophone country. Please give yourselves a round of applause. This is an immersive gathering of 30 plus heads of state, 1,500 plus business leaders from across the globe. But most importantly, it is also a gathering of the people that make up more than 70% of this magnifique continent we call home, young people. So over the next few days, we are going to learn, interact, network, to basically get a feel of the African continent and how it relates to France, how it relates to the world, how it relates to the West. We are breaking barriers. I hear people say that the world is no longer facing east or west, it is facing south. And I think it's time that we take our place and we act as such, right? Yes. The theme this year is Future Makers. And I like the idea of future makers. I also like to think that the future is quite possibly in the present. How many people have been told you are the leaders of the future? Ever? Show of hands. Yeah. Has the future come? Yes? Yes? The future is here, right? I think the future is now. And we are future makers. It is our work to make sure that this continent and that the world interacts as one. So over the next few days, I'm hoping you make a friend, you make a business partner, you network with people, you perhaps even find someone to write letters to. I don't know if we can go back to the olden days. But it is my sincere hope that you have a good time at this summit, and we will have incredibly great conversations over the next hour, especially with President Ruto and President Macron. We'll be discussing AI and innovation, and we'll get to hear from President Ruto his insights, his expertise, his thoughts on how we can basically use AI for innovation and to make sure that we are not just, like I said, the cog in the wheel that's making AI run in the world, but not gaining anything from it. And from President Macron, he'll be on a panel discussing how we can make sure that African voices are platformed on global stages. Just before the presidents came in, I spoke of the danger of a single story, and a lot of you agreed. You've heard or seen the lecture by Chimamanda Adichie. That means that we cannot be the people who are being written about without owning the narratives. And that even as we have partners across the world, that they are part of our story, that we are collaborating as one. Am I right? Yes. All right. We'll get right into our program for the day. I will invite our first moderator. Her name is Sophia Ida. She is a journalist, a TV presenter. She's also a comms expert, and she will be walking us through. Welcome, Sophia. She will be walking us through this panel on AI and innovation. Welcome, Sophia.
Good morning, Excellencies, distinguished guests, innovators, founders, and especially the young people shaping the future of Africa. Are there some young people in the room today? Are there some young leaders in the room today? Are you a future maker? If you're a future maker, make some noise for yourself, please. This is our session. This is our time. This is our discussion. My name is Sophia Ida, international host, entrepreneur, and founder of Chic Network, which is a platform dedicated to amplifying African and diaspora voices, creativity, and innovation. So it's truly my honor to lead this conversation, talking about a subject that is deeply, deeply important for the future of our continent and the next generations. We're gathered here at a defining moment in history. By 2050, 1 person out of every 4 on Earth will be African. So the question is no longer whether Africa will participate in this technological revolution. The real question is, will Africa help build it? Artificial intelligence is expected to contribute trillions to the global economy in the next decades, while Africa's digital economy will reach nearly $700 billion by 2050. But beyond the numbers, this conversation is about something a lot more human, deeply human. It's about jobs. It's about opportunities, dignity, and sovereignty. Because for the first time in history, with just the help of a laptop, a young person in Nairobi, in Abidjan, in Johannesburg, in Douala, can train AI models in local languages, create solutions for Africa, by Africans, with African technologies, can create solutions globally as well from here. This is a first, and we must pay attention to this revolution. So it's safe to say that the future of innovation is not only taking place in Silicon Valley. The future of innovation is taking place right here in Africa, in African cities, African universities, African startups, and by African youth. But this future will require courage. Courage to invest in infrastructure. Courage to trust the young entrepreneurs. Courage for us to no longer consume technology, but becoming builders, owners, and architects of it. And today we're joined by 2 leaders already helping shape that future. Our first speaker is one of the leading African voices in artificial intelligence today. She's not only building technology, she's helping redefine who shapes the future of AI. Through Amini, she's building sovereign AI infrastructure for Africa and the global South, enabling countries to create value from their own data, talent, and innovation. From Ndivya to Intel to ARM, her career has been dedicated to expanding access to frontier technologies and now to position Africa at the center of AI conversations. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome to the stage the founder and CEO of Amini, Ms. Kate Kalot. We can keep clapping for her until she takes a seat, please. Thank you so much. Our second speaker represents a new generation of builders connecting Africa through technology and entrepreneurship. As co-founder of Julia and president of French Tech Abidjan, he's helping build the financial infrastructure powering African businesses across borders. Based in Abidjan and active across West Africa, he believes that Africa's next generation of jobs and economic champions will come from Africans building solutions for African realities. Please put your hands together for Mathias Leopoldi, co-founder of Julia, president of French Tech Abidjan, and apparently he's a young leader de la French African Foundation. Make some noise for him. All right. Now my first question is for you, Kate. As one of Time's 100 most influential people in AI, what gives you optimism about Africa's positioning in this digital transformation that we're talking about, and what must we do now to become builders of AI instead of consumers of it?
Thank you for the question, which I think it's probably the most consequential question Africa is facing today in the age of AI. Builders or consumers? But for me, this question is deeply personal, because I am African. My parents are from the Central African Republic, but I am also French. I was born and raised in Paris. And I spent the past 15 years rising to the top of the big US corporations in AI. But I saw something that was missing. I saw the missing infrastructure for our own builders. So 4 years ago, I decided to come home. And since then, home has been Nairobi. And I'm not alone. There are generations of builders from Microsoft, from Google, from the world's top universities, including Polytechnique, who are coming back to the continent. We are not coming back because we failed there. We're coming back because we saw what was missing here, and we want to fix it. So us, alongside the homegrown builders, the millions of local innovators, we are the new face of Africa. We are young, we're connected, and we are deeply rooted. And we want to change the story of our continent. I often get asked why I left NVIDIA at the top of the AI revolution. And for me, the answer is in the statistics. Africa holds 19% of the world's population, but less than 1% of the global compute capacity. What the stat really means is that builders across many African countries, across Kampala, across Nairobi, across Bangui, are stuck at the bottom of the AI value chain. They are paid to label data and not empowered to build, forced to use and consume systems that were not designed or built by them or for them. But on the flip side, I see an opportunity to rewrite the future for ourselves. And that's why I decided to move to Kenya and found Amini 4 years ago. We transform local data into intelligence that the continent can act upon. We deploy local infrastructure that our governments can own, build, and operate locally. And today, we are very proud to announce a partnership with Foxconn and Bull to close the sovereign compute gap in Africa. We will deploy compute that is modular, that is energy efficient, and that is affordable, so that finally we can own and operate our own infrastructure. So our small company that was born out of Nairobi is now solving problems at a global scale. We've now expanded into Bridgetown, into Rio, into Manila, across the global south, because the opportunity is planetary. So you asked me what I am optimistic about. And I think I'm optimistic about our people, the generations who are coming back, who have not just studied the AI revolution, but have built it, have been inside the systems which are reshaping the world today. And the generations which have never left. I've been here, and for the past couple of years, I've learned how to master those systems. And those two give me optimism. France and Africa have something that neither of them can build alone or replicate alone. Deep talent, a tradition for strategic autonomy, and the refusal to accept that the future only belongs to those who already hold it. And for me, I hope that this is the new generation of the France-Africa relationship. I want to refuse that our builders, our future makers, have to choose between living to build or staying to build. Building from home has to be the best option for us. Imagine coupling French scientific excellence with African ingenuity. Builders in Nairobi, in Paris, building on the same infrastructure. This is us writing our own AI economy, not negotiating to be part of someone else. So Your Excellencies, as today, the decisions that you will make today and how we collaborate in the next 10 years will define what sovereignty means for centuries. Thank you. Merci. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you so much. The next question is for you, Matthias. Nowadays, an Ivorian SME paying Kenyan suppliers still routes through London or New York and pays 2 or 3 times more for the privilege. You're building the layer that changes that, right? What would it mean in real jobs and real businesses if that infrastructure existed at scale within 5 years?
Thanks, Sophie. Your Excellency, President William Ruto, Monsieur le Président de la République Emmanuel Macron, and distinguished and honored guests without protocol. Like Kate, I'm French. I'm a French entrepreneur. I have been working in West Africa for the past 10 years, based between Abidjan, Dakar, Cotonou, Lomé, and I founded an online bank to try to tackle this issue called Julaya. We often hear Africa is lagging. Africa needs to catch up, like all these narratives. But there are industries where Africa is actually leading and is actually a leader in the world. And one of those industries I want to talk about today is called mobile money and was born here in Kenya around 25 years ago. Today, mobile money empowers 1.2 billion people in Africa out of 1.6 billion people to access financial inclusion, send money, pay bills, etc. But there's a but. This revolution is not fully complete. Today, as you said, if you're a Kenyan SME, for example, you want to pay a Senegalese supplier, it takes a correspondent bank and the dollar to do it. It is not a problem of will, it is not a problem of talent, it is a problem of critical infrastructure. And this is being solved. There is a new institution called PAPS, Pan-African Payment Settlement System, which is sponsored by President Ruto, and which envisions to allow the 42 African currencies to transact with each other without going through the dollars, etc. What we envision today as youth is to be part of this revolution. And all the young leaders in this panel and in the room, we want to be part of the economic growth that will involve and that will follow this revolution. So I want to say, like, with the backing of the right banks like Proparco, BPI France, the African Development Bank, and also with the backing of the right support organization, ecosystem organization, we can make this revolution happen. And I'm one of those examples. I've benefited from this funding, I've benefited from this support, and I want to tell, and with the approval from the presidents, that this is what awaits the youth today, and this is what we need to seize today. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthias. Now, Excellency Mr. President Ruto, Africa's greatest resource is not buried underground. As you can see, is the talent, is the creativity and the ambition of young people. We've spoken today about artificial intelligence, digital infrastructure, entrepreneurship, and financial innovation. But for millions of young Africans listening, the question is ultimately very simple. Will this technological revolution create opportunities they can actually access? So my final question to you is, what must African governments do differently, starting now, to ensure that the next generation of African innovators, engineers, creators, and entrepreneurs are able to fulfill their full potential, allowing them to build globally competitive companies and careers right here in Africa?
Thank you very much. And congratulations, Kate, and my good friend Matthias. Listening to you is, breath of fresh air. I mean, I could relate with everything that you said. But let me say this. For us to be able to be future ready, and I'm happy to know this morning, I am among the people who have been saying I'm neither facing west or east, I'm facing forward. But now you're telling me forward is south. So I will improve. I will now know what to say. Now, two things. One, infrastructure. And two, knowledge. Let me start with the first one. There is every reason why we should have the right knowledge acquisition. We need to fine-tune the whole ecosystem around education. In Kenya, we have had to review the education system and to make it competence-based. There was a time we were teaching and the education was about academics and what you can cram and what you can regurgitate and what you can do. Today we are changing that to be much more experiential so that we get more skills, we get more competencies, and that is why 60% of our education is now targeted to STEM subjects that will inform what these two great young leaders are talking about. We have had to invest more in education, making sure that they have the right education, they have the right skills, they have the right competencies so that they can participate meaningfully. Number two is infrastructure, digital infrastructure, making sure that we have fiber optic across our countries, making sure that it is accessible, creating spaces where entrepreneurs, creatives, young people can undertake their assignments, their aspirations, and drive what these two good people have been saying. In Kenya, apart from reforming the education system, putting more money in and realigning education so that it speaks to the requirements of the now, we are also investing in digital infrastructure, fiber optic. They've just said we are manufacturing now here in Kenya a lot of digital assets, whether it is phones, whether it is computers, and all that digital infrastructure. We are laying fiber optic to 30,000 kilometers already in Kenya to make sure that every part of Kenya is in the loop. And then finally, the Ministry of ICT, and I have my minister here, is now working on how to bring the rest of the world into Kenya to experience. And I'm going to ask Kate why she chose Kenya. I would really want to know why, out of all the other countries, why she. There must be something in Kenya that gave her, you know, there must be something. And it must be among the things I'm talking about. So making sure that some of the best companies across the world come to participate with us. Last year, Teleperformance, the largest BPO company in the world, set up office in Kenya. We have many BPO companies set up in Kenya. Why? Because we have young people with the right skills, we have the right infrastructure in terms of internet connectivity, and we have a very enterprising and entrepreneurial population. So in my opinion, this is the space in which we are operating, and I think every other country should be able to think in that direction, because the future is about technology, the future is digital, and AI is going to be at the center of it.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency.
Please, will you favor me with Kate? Will you favor me?
We picked Kenya because of the ecosystem, like you mentioned. The ecosystem is vibrant and it's here.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Your Excellency, for your remarks. Thank you, Kate. Thank you, Matthias. We are closing this first panel. Thank you, everyone. And Mariam, I give you the mic to follow this day. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and Matthias, Kate as well, and Sophia for a wonderful job moderating. The fact that Kate left in NVIDIA, which makes more money on a yearly basis than a lot of nations, to come and invest back home says something that if we don't believe it ourselves, no one else will believe it, right? We have to set the precedent. And I think that's amazing. Also, what we're doing with the competency-based curriculum, as the President has said, is preparing ourselves for now and for the future. And I love that we're able to have these discussions in a room where the whole continent is represented. There we go. Speaking of representation, okay, I think we're back. Thank you, President Macron. Speaking of representation for the continent, the fact that we get to tell our own stories is also incredibly important. How we platform ourselves across the world, how we are listened to, how we are viewed, how we are perceived. That's what we're talking about in this next panel. And we will have the moderator being Aisha Toure, who is the CEO of Orange Sierra Leone. Please give Aisha a big round of applause. Let's go. And of course, His Excellency President Macron will be on her panel as well. Let me hand over to you, Aisha.
Merci Mariam. Leurs Excellences, Monsieur Emmanuel Macron, Président de la République française, Monsieur William Ruto, Président de la République du Kenya, merci de nous offrir ce moment. Bonjour à toutes et à tous. Je m'appelle Aisha Touré, directrice générale d'Orange Sierra Leone. Je suis évolué entre la France, le Royaume-Uni, les États-Unis et maintenant la Sierra Leone. Je sais ce que signifie naviguer entre plusieurs cultures et apprendre à en faire une force. Je suis également fière de faire partie d'un groupe qui connecte aujourd'hui plus de 160 millions d'Africains à des services numériques et financiers essentiels et qui a déjà formé plus d'1,5 million de jeunes Africains à des métiers du numérique gratuitement via les Orange Digital Center. Pendant longtemps, l'Afrique a été racontée par d'autres. Aujourd'hui, des voix africaines s'imposent à travers la culture, l'entrepreneuriat, les médias, la technologie. Le narratif devient... Au fond, l'influence d'un continent ne se mesure pas uniquement à son poids économique ou politique, mais aussi à sa capacité à produire des récits, des imaginaires, des marques, de la culture et de la confiance. On peut parler de la diplomatie culturelle française, M-Pesa pour le Kenya. Alors, comment l'Afrique transforme-t-elle aujourd'hui cette nouvelle visibilité en capacité d'influence? Jean-François et Wilfried ont des réponses concrètes. Je les invite à nous rejoindre. Jean-Wilfried Kemajou travaille depuis plusieurs années au rayonnement du continent africain à l'international. Il est notamment l'un des principaux architectes de la marque Bénin, un monde de splendeur. Qui a fait de l'image du Bénin un vrai levier d'attractivité et d'influence. Marois, entrepreneur, créatrice de contenu et animatrice télé, incarne à travers son parcours entre l'Algérie et la France une Afrique qui construit aujourd'hui des marques, des entreprises et une influence culturelle entre plusieurs mondes. Jean-Wilfried, commençons par toi. L'Afrique a souvent été enfermée dans des récits réducteurs et incomplets. Comment peut-elle sortir de ces stéréotypes et construire un récit plus juste, plus ambitieux et plus fidèle à ces réalités contemporaines.
Merci Aïcha pour la question. Tout d'abord, permets-moi de remercier son Excellence, Monsieur le Président William Ruto, ainsi que son Excellence, Monsieur le Président Emmanuel Macron, de nous accueillir aujourd'hui et de nous donner l'opportunité d'aborder un sujet aussi important. Avant d'entamer mon propos, j'aimerais vous partager un montant, 4,2 milliards de dollars. 4,2 milliards de dollars, c'est ce que perd l'Afrique chaque année en raison des stéréotypes négatifs relayés par des médias internationaux. Alors, ce montant révélé par une étude de l'ONG Africa No Filter nous démontre une chose, c'est que l'image de l'Afrique n'est plus une question de symbole. Il y a des impacts économiques concrets pour nos pays. Et donc, nous devons prendre acte de cela. Alors, soyons clairs, en Afrique, il n'y a pas de nation branding sans nation building. Nous devons bien évidemment, à côté de cette attractivité que nous devons construire, développer des secteurs essentiels à nos économies, que ce soit l'éducation, la santé, les infrastructures qui contribuent au développement de nos pays. Mais il y a une problématique aujourd'hui, c'est que beaucoup de pays africains se transforment et ne racontent pas le récit de cette transformation. Et ce qui se passe, c'est que ce récit est raconté par d'autres. Et quand ce sont d'autres qui racontent nos histoires, ce qui se passe, c'est que nous subissons des stéréotypes négatifs. Et donc, nous subissons une image dévalorisante de notre continent. Et ça, il faut le dire, les grandes puissances internationales ont su le comprendre très tôt. Et je veux prendre l'exemple de la France, qui, depuis Louis XIV et Versailles, rayonne au sein du monde. On peut prendre les États-Unis avec Hollywood, qui a su façonner nos imaginaires collectifs, ou plus récemment avec la vague Hallyu sud-coréenne, qui, je dirais, nous a, dans la salle, fait de nous des fans de la série à succès Squid Game sur Netflix. Et donc, cela démontre une chose, c'est que il y a une politique volontariste des grandes puissances sur les questions de soft power. Ce n'est pas un détail, l'image n'est pas un détail, c'est volontaire, c'est pensé, c'est acté. Il y a des investissements concrets qui permettent à ces puissances de rayonner sur la scène internationale. En Afrique, depuis de nombreuses années, encore, quand on parle du continent, on parle d'un continent empreint de guerre, d'épidémies, de maladies, empreint de pauvreté. Et je pense qu'il y a une logique sémantique que je pense que nous devons inverser, c'est celui de sortir de ce récit, de lutter contre la pauvreté pour assumer notre volonté de devenir des puissances. Parce que je pense que les pays africains... Je pense que les pays africains aujourd'hui doivent aspirer à devenir des puissances culturelles, des puissances technologiques, des puissances économiques. Et que ce récit a déjà commencé. L'Afrique n'est pas le continent du futur, mais bien du présent. Et donc moi, j'aimerais aussi vous partager une expérience personnelle, parce que le Bénin, depuis plusieurs années, est dans cette transformation. Et au Bénin, berceau du vaudou, le pays a voulu justement sortir de ces stéréotypes négatifs. Parce que quand on parle du vaudou, et je sais déjà dans la salle qu'on se dit « oulala, la magie noire, la sorcellerie, qu'est-ce qui se passe ?» Eh bien, ça, c'est le résultat de ces années, de ces décennies, de ces siècles, justement, de stéréotypes négatifs. Le vaudou, ce n'est pas cela. Le vaudou, c'est notre spiritualité, c'est ce que nous sommes, au plus profond de nous-mêmes. Et donc, sous la supervision de son Excellence le Président de la République, Patrice Talon, il a fait le choix assumé, avec fierté, de revendiquer justement ce patrimoine inestimable. Et je veux ici donner un exemple concret, celui des Vaudou Days, qui est aujourd'hui devenu le plus grand rassemblement autour des arts, de la culture et de la spiritualité vaudou autour du monde. La première édition, il y a 3 ans, nous avons eu 97 000 participants. Il y a quelques mois, en janvier, nous avons eu 700 000 participants en 3 jours à Ouida. Cela démontre une chose, c'est que quand un pays assume son patrimoine, décide de maîtriser son récit, eh bien ça marche. Ça marche économiquement, ça marche touristiquement, et ça marche aussi dans la réappropriation de cette fierté en tant qu'Africains. Aujourd'hui, les Béninois le diront, ils sont fiers d'être Béninois et de revendiquer cela. Et donc, je dirais, cet exemple qui est très parlant me permet de répondre à ta question, Aïcha, autour de la solution. Eh bien, en présence justement des chefs d'État et bien évidemment du public ici présent, j'aimerais partager une proposition très concrète que j'ai eu la chance de proposer dans une tribune il y a quelques années. C'est celui de créer la marque Afrique. Je pense que le moment est venu pour nous d'avoir une marque Afrique, parce que je pense que sur cette terre, aucun continent n'a besoin de travailler son attractivité d'une manière aussi intense que le continent africain. Cette marque, selon moi, doit suivre l'agenda 2063 de l'Union africaine, qui est déjà très clair, autour justement des axes de développement du continent. Et cette marque également doit pouvoir associer institutions financières, États, société civile, autour d'une entité qui nous permettra enfin de reprendre la main sur notre narratif et bien sûr de valoriser notre continent sur la scène internationale. Je vous remercie.
Merci Jean-Wilfried. Marois, des millions de jeunes femmes te suivent aujourd'hui à travers les réseaux sociaux parce qu'elles se reconnaissent dans ton parcours. Toi qui vis entre deux continents, deux cultures, quel rôle la diaspora peut-elle jouer pour changer le regard sur l'Afrique? Et à travers ton parcours, comment as-tu ressenti ce besoin de contribuer au développement économique de ton pays d'origine?
Merci beaucoup Aïcha pour cette question. Avant ça, permets-moi de remercier l'organisation pour l'invitation, l'Assemblée
for the invitation, and clearly to their excellencies. Thank you for being at the source of this initiative. It's very humbling to be here next with you. This event is very important symbolically as a young Algerian woman. To be able to represent young people from the North African diaspora is a true honor. I apologize, I'm very nervous. Thank you. So I'll tell you about my path. I was born in Algeria. I stayed there until I was 5 years old. And then I moved to France. So we have some fans of Algeria in the room. So as I was saying, I continued my trajectory in France, and I struggled with my identity for some time. I considered it as a disability, and now I see it as my strength. And I think it's important for our diaspora to understand two realities. What are international ambitions and what are the possibilities on the African continent? Throughout my education, I went to an engineering school, which was extremely demanding and very tiring. But it was my release. I needed a release, and my release was social media. And on social media, I was able to talk about my culture, my two cultures, and I was able to speak to those who are like me and who look like me, and to represent them. And this has enabled me to pursue incredible opportunities to work with international leaders in retail and
Malgré toutes ces opportunités, j'ai toujours ressenti un vide et une volonté très très forte de devenir une valeur ajoutée pour mon pays natal, l'Algérie. Et c'est pour ça que depuis 3 ans, avec mon mari, nous développons plusieurs business sur plein de secteurs différents, la restauration, l'immobilier, et notamment l'industrie, avec l'ouverture d'une cuisine de produits cosmétiques made in Algeria, et aussi avec la création de notre marque, la première marque premium de maquillage en Algérie. Et avec ce projet,
so beyond beauty, my desire was to make something in Algeria, in Africa. And we want to rival international competitors, and it's important not to establish oneself on the international scene. My intention, along with my husband, was to contribute to the local economy, to create, to invest, to create jobs, and to provide an economic added value and to export to the EU. And that is our role as part of the African diaspora. That is to say, we're here to build bridges, economic bridges, cultural bridges, human bridges. And to answer your question, Aisha, our generation, in my opinion, have an essential role to play for the future, to change the perception of Africa, to show Africa's potential. And a message I would have to send to African youth is to believe in your ambitions, believe in your dreams, and above all, never forget that your identity never forget that your identity does not hold you back, but rather it is your biggest strength. Thank you.
Merci.
Thank
Croire en
you.
ses rêves, croire en son
Believe in your
identité.
dreams, believe
Monsieur le Président,
identity.
Jean-Wilfried et Marois
Mr.
viennent de
President,
montrer
Jean-Wilfried and Marois have just demonstrated that a new African generation is building its own narrative, its own brand, its own influence. So here in this room we have builders, entrepreneurs, creators. What message do you send to this generation? There are artists in the room as well. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you for your welcome, not just here to Nairobi, but also to your alma mater, your university. And thank you to the university for their hospitality. I really wanted to continue to listen to these discussions because I'm becoming a veteran in this mission. I've been working on this for 9 years, and my intention is to change a number of things when it comes to the relationship between France, Europe, and Africa. And it was quite formidable to listen to all four of you because you spoke very wisely. And whilst I was listening to you, I realized that we should let you lead the way, in fact. More seriously, I think that the battle we have is multifold. So why do we need to change the continent? Well, this type of summit usually begins with a meeting between African and European leaders, and the European leaders, or French leaders, would come and explain to African leaders, and perhaps they would involve civil society. They'd say, we've taken a look at your situation, this is what's good for you, and we'll help you. And I think that this is no longer what Africa needs or what Africa wishes to hear. The President said yesterday that we don't want this anymore, we don't need you to help us. And this is good because we don't necessarily have the resources to do so, if I'm to be 100% clear. And it creates many tensions. We talk about helping people, and then this may lead to problems, etc. Well, Africa is succeeding. It is the youngest continent in the world. It's the continent which has the highest growth in the world. All Africa needs is investment to be more sovereign. This was mentioned earlier on. And we want to be partners on an equal level because we have the same mission to carry out in Europe. And that is what is at stake here. And we're beginning this Africa Forward Summit by listening to you, the youth of the African continent, to tell you, these are our dreams, these are our ambitions, this is what we're doing. And we can say, well, we have investments to make. It's wise for you, it's good for us, and we can work together to do this. Our challenges are very similar. Our challenges are the challenges you've described, whether it pertains to technology, AI, payment systems, or whether it's about the creative and cultural industries. And narratives, as you said quite rightly. So we have a shared challenge.
Consumer and builders. And it is exactly the same. Because a lot of solutions are made in the US or made in China. And when you speak about artificial intelligence, okay, a lot of us today are consumers. So I think we have a common fight, a common battle together of investment, which is to build our strategic autonomy for Europe and Africa. And if we build it together, we will be much stronger. So we need infrastructure. And this challenge of building infrastructure is exactly the same in Europe. Computing capacities. Okay, if we want to make infrastructure, let's invest together. In order to do so, and this is a challenge, by the way, that President Ruto is facing here and fixing, this is the energy challenge. No chance to build any AI infrastructure and computing capacities without energy. So we have to build much more energy facilities, renewables, nuclear, in order to deploy electrification of our common use in Europe, electrification for households and companies in Africa, but in order to build additional capacities and computing capacities, first challenge, and to build foundational models and companies on that. Everything, when we speak about infrastructure, is about sovereignty. And this partnership between Amini, Bull, and Foxconn, for me, is a perfect example of this sovereignty, this common sovereignty story. African, European, and Taiwanese company. All of us have to face this challenge of sovereignty and reducing our dependencies. So it's super smart. So let's rush on infrastructure, and it's true for AI, it's true for payment system, and I want to commend you for what you do with this Pan-African settlement system. I think it's super smart, and you're right to say that you are leading in terms of mobile payment, and we are very proud for Orange and some companies to be part of this game. The second key challenge we have to face together is about talents. In Europe, and especially in France, we do educate and train a lot of talents. Our key challenge is to provide jobs for them and to make sure that they stay and don't move. I have to say I was despaired a few years ago when I saw that so many talents of AI in Silicon Valley were in fact educated in France, data scientists or mathematicians. Now they are starting to come back because we have great leaders and we are building clearly the leadership in Europe of AI and quantum capacities. And it is exactly the same challenge in Africa. And you were right. You have to train more, and I'm super proud of what we are doing here with the investment of the French Agency for Development and the university to build on STEM and AI, new capacities, new partnerships with our best universities. And this is exactly what we want to do through the continent. How to educate and train more and more talents to make sure that they will be trained here in the best education system, with the best partnership, and they will stay and help the country to develop and help the continent to develop. And this is why we will expand these partnerships between our universities and the African universities. We will accelerate this trend of investment, and this is why I want to thank our companies to clearly accompany this work on Orange during this summit. We'll announce, thank you, Christelle, this 50 digital centers. I think this is extremely powerful, with 1 million young African people being trained through this Orange Digital Center by 2030. And a few years ago, we built Digital Africa, whose objective is to connect digital ecosystems. And this is part of this training capacities for your talents, but as well how to make sure that the ecosystem will enlarge and talents will stay. Et le dernier défi pour être pleinement souverain, c'est exactement ce que vous avez dit et ce que vous avez parfaitement décrit l'un et l'autre.
You said quite rightly. You described this perfectly. You talked about narrative. And we know that it is the winner that writes history. And the work that we're currently doing, and we'll come back to this later on in the day when we talk about cultural restitution, but we're currently reinventing the balanced partnership with the African continent by returning cultural objects. But there's also a contemporary narrative to write, and this narrative can be written by others with a backward-looking view, or by others. It's important that this narrative is written by Africans, otherwise the narrative won't be the right narrative. And it's also a question of sovereignty, because this perception enables you to multiply your strengths. It's history that we're writing. This will give you a greater ability to forge ahead. It will attract investments. If you have the right narrative, then you will appeal to people who wish to take part. It's about soft power. So it's just as important as infrastructure and talent. You have to have the right narrative, and this narrative enables us to ensure that culture, technology, and the economy are taken as one. However, it's important for this narrative to be written by Africans, and if this is done, then it will have a multiplying effect. And that's why I'm extremely impressed by the example of Benin. It's a brilliant example because it is a success story which has gone via culture and the economy. And I'm very impressed by what the continent is currently doing. There is a positive Pan-Africanism that is at play. Oftentimes, we have associated Pan-Africanism to something which was negative, to negative stereotypes. However, this Pan-Africanism of your generation is positive and is fair. It enables you to build your continent, to take up challenges, to attract investment, and to say that I don't want solutions to be imposed by other countries. I want to help my country develop, and I want to help my continent to develop, and I want to make these choices.
And our role, I will finish with this, is not to offer aid. It is just to say, wow, we also need to do the same for ourselves. I said, France has always been this. We are a nation that has always been seen as a great nation. I have said and repeated this oftentimes. France has always dreamed big. We have built this story for ourselves for many years, and this is what has made the two reasons for us in this summit to be here. First, we want that our companies and the government of France to invest by your side because we know it will work, and that the African story is a big story, is a great story, and that when you look at Europe and Africa, there is an evidence, and that this fight for sovereignty, technological sovereignty, AIT sovereignty, quantum sovereignty is common. If you fail, we do not have any chance. If you fail, your youth will leave Africa and will no longer solve migration. We need you to succeed because it's good for France and Europe. There's a positive story to build. It is incredible for the 21st century that you'll build your story. We will do it also on our end, and we'll do it hand in hand. Secondly, we have a common destiny. We have a common destiny. You said something that probably you have a story that wasn't so good. There are millions of young people in France who are from the diaspora as yourself. And for many years we told them, sorry that you're from the diaspora or you come from this particular country and you'd like to be forgotten. No, you're 100% French and 100% from Algeria. You have your dual nationality, and we need you because that is a boost for us in France to have young people like you who are Franco-Algerian, Franco-Central African, and who would like to develop the world and conquer further frontiers, and who work with us. This is really important for us, so be proud of being member of diaspora, of being French, and of being African. And that's why I'm here. In my country, and I've told it to my Kenyan counterparts who do not know it much, there are millions of young people who are totally French and totally African. And it's a great honor and luck for their countries. I will stop here, therefore, Madam Moderator, but
builders of this common future. And I'm extremely happy to see how proud and solution-driven you are when you speak about your own future. And this is why I'm here. I do believe in the future of Africa. I do believe in the future of your country, William. And I am a leader of a country who wants to be part of that, who wants to invest here, who is very proud of our own past and future. But this partnership, this balanced, generous, lucid, and equal partnership is precisely how we will frame and build our common future. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you to our moderator, Aisha. Thank you, President Macron, and Marwa, and Jean-Wilfred. Please give them a round of applause. And I love the emphasis, President Macron, on the fact that you can be both, that it doesn't have to be one or the other, and this emphasis on sovereignty as well. I'll also say that something that Jean Wilfred said about the brand Africa is definitely conversations that I've been hearing happen, and I can't wait to see a time when Muranga tea from Kenya has the same brand recognition that champagne from France has, right? That fish from Lake Victoria has the same brand recognition that salmon from Norway has, right? And we're getting there. We will get there if we continue to have these conversations, but also get something tangible out of them. I know the fear of summits sometimes is that it's talk, and there's nothing concrete, but there will be concrete action points from this Africa Forward Summit, and I think that's an amazing thing. We're just about to get into a presentation on a white paper about Africa and innovation in democracy. But before we go there, I think music is something that brings people together, and if there is a song that I feel brings France and Kenya together, and the continent as a whole, is Premier Gawo. Anyone heard it? Mr. DJ, I think we just need a little taste. Of it, I think I'm correct that Premier Gawo brings Africa and France together. Does it not? It really does. We are talking next about innovation in democracy, and Professor Achille Mbembe is a historian. He's a political scientist. He is someone who has done a lot of work researching what democracy for Africa looks like. Sometimes we make copy-paste systems without thinking, how do I make this work for me? So he's presenting a white paper on what innovation in African democracy looks like. Please help me give a warm round of applause and a welcome to Professor Achille Mbembe.
I did prepare some formal remarks, but the atmosphere in this room, I think, invites for something a bit more spontaneous. Especially after President Ruto and my dear friend Emmanuel's speech. I had the feeling that he could be a very good candidate for a presidential election in an African country. So, I knew, I have seen him in action a few times, and I'm very happy that I was able to witness the same energy, the same intelligence, and the same commitment to our continent and to the idea of a common world. He ended with that. I was also delighted to listen to President Ruto and to hear about the efforts he has been engaged in making of Kenya a place where no African feel like a stranger. All that we heard from President Ruto and Emmanuel. We heard it yesterday. The same joy, the same passion, the same energy was expressed yesterday during a pavilion. The Innovation Foundation for Democracy, the Paris Peace Forum, and the International Commission for Jurists, Kenyan section, we held at another university, Strathmore University, not far from here indeed. And what we are bringing to you this time is in the form of a book. I won't be summarizing the book here. The book contains no less than 60 proposals, which are not proposals for governments, which are not proposals for business, which are proposals for all, beginning with civil society organizations themselves, in the full knowledge that these days governments, business, and civil society and communities have to work together. There's no other way. And that we have to basically invest, as we heard this morning, in our communities and societies' resources, in their strengths, being inclusive, if we are to address the challenges ahead of us. I'll end these very quick comments with one word which came to me as I was listening to the conversation we have had this morning. When it comes to telling the world what Africa is all about. I will say it in French because I really haven't found a proper translation in English. I hope that the translators will do their job. L'Afrique est une réserve de puissance et une puissance en réserve. I believe that that's what I heard this morning, and I would like to leave it at that. So this is the book. Voilà. It's a lot of reading for the two presidents, but since they read so well, I'm sure that they go through it. Thank you very much, and excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Bravo.
Thank you so much, Professor Achille. Thank you. Please give him a round of applause. And please give President Ruto and President Macron a warm round of applause for co-hosting this summit. This is just the beginning. This is day one. I cannot wait to see what the next 2 days bring. Now we'll take a quick photo session, but I'll hand over to Mike to run us through the photo session. There'll also be a video playing just to give you a historic look at the relationship between France and Kenya. It's going from Ouagadougou to Nairobi. We'll play that in just a minute, but let me hand over to Mike. We'll have a quick session with the panelists, a photo session, just so we can get everyone in the picture, and then we'll hand over to the video from Ouagadougou to Nairobi. Mike?
All right, thank you. A clap for Mariam, please, for moderating us very well. Thank you. Your Excellencies, I'll just request that we step forward. I'll request that the panelists may also join the presidents for the photo session. Just initially the first panelist, please. Just the ones who spoke. Your Your Excellencies, that brings us to the end of this session, and we'll then request that we all be upstanding as we then allow the two heads of state to exit and go to the cultural experience. Feel free to give them a warm
Please also.
Indeed, welcome to Taifa Hall. This is where we've seen President Dr. William Ruto and the President of France, Emmanuel Macron, just speaking to the youth. This was a high-level youth engagement forum where we saw startup entrepreneurs in technology and further afield just speaking to the president and telling the presidents and telling them about their challenges. They spoke about some of the issues that affect the youth in technology and in business here in the continent and further afield. And President Ruto did say that we need to fine-tune issues, especially in education. The president said that the country, Kenya, is changing to a more experiential kind of education where we have we emphasize more on skills rather than cramming of texts for any exam. He did say how Kenya is making sure that children have the right skills and competences, and he further went on to add that Kenya has also made sure that we have the right infrastructure such as fiber optic connectivity to make sure everyone is able to drive their aspirations forward. Kenya is also looking to add more education to also education based made through digital connectivity, or rather supplemented and complemented through digital connectivity by investing through digital assets such as data centers, fiber optics and computers and so on in that sector. Kenya is also working through the Ministry of ICT on how it can bring the best companies in the world to set base in Kenya. The president saying that it is no chance that major companies in the world are here. Indeed, that has been just a recap of what has been going on here at the Taifa Hall at the University of Nairobi, where we are bringing you live pictures on all platforms, including the digital platform KBC Digital and KBC Plus online. We now hand you over back to studio as we continue to bring you this live event throughout the day. My name is Alan Auko. Enjoy the rest of your viewing.
Well, for the first time in the history of the Africa-France Summit, it's being held in an Anglophone country. This is the first one, and of course, more than 30 heads of state are converging here in Nairobi for this critical meeting, which is going to discuss, among others, how to restructure the global financial architecture, as well as green energy, and of course deepening relations between Africa and France. Nairobi is going to be the host. This meeting is going to be huge. And that's why we have on set the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Musalia Mudavadi. He's going to break it down for us, what this means for us as a nation and what do we expect out of this meeting. Thank you very much indeed, Waziri, for your time. First of all, help us understand what a moment is this for Nairobi to be chosen, for Kenya to be picked up to host this meeting?
Well, it's a very significant recognition for us, and it speaks to the capacity of Kenya to convene critical international gatherings. Now, on May 11th and 12th, we are going to have the Africa Forward Summit being held here in Nairobi at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. This is the primary venue, but there'll also be activities taking place at the University of Nairobi for the Business Forum, and we also have concerts lined up in Kasarani at the gymnasium during this two-day period. So this event or gathering or summit brings together 30 heads of state and government, plus about 4,000 plus delegates, and about 1,500 to 2,000 people who will participate in the business forum. So this is a very, very important event, and it's being jointly co-chaired by Kenya under President William Ruto and Emmanuel Macron, President of France. So we have a very eventful week of next 2 days ahead of us. Yes.
I know this meeting is going to address 7 thematic areas, and one of them is green energy transition. Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yes, this is a very critical thing. One, Kenya already has 93% of its energy from the green sources. That is largely geothermal, wind, and solar. So in terms of what we have achieved, Kenya is way ahead of many other countries because we want to break away or move away from the fossil fuels. Now, the other thing is to be able to talk more about green industrialization, to also talk about how Africa can also benefit more from green financing, the carbon credits, and so forth. As you will recall, not too long ago, President William Ruto chaired the KAHOSK, the meeting here on climate matters for the African Union.
The African Climate Summit.
And the Nairobi Declaration has become a blueprint for Africa on matters of climate change. So that was a very significant development. So we equally know that in this meeting, the resolutions that come out of here will carry far and wide. And one of the most immediate places is that France happens to be taking over the chairmanship of the G7. And there'll be a meeting in Evian in June in France. And President William Ruto, on behalf of Kenya, has been invited. So clearly, this meeting is very timely in the sense that the narrative, the agenda that emanates from this meeting can be part of the broader global conversation. That, I think, is important. And then the final thing I would say is that the whole issue about diversified energy has become even more important because we are now beginning to see the impact of the Middle East conflict on the energy supply chain globally.
We know that France is, of course, a leader in nuclear energy, and I know Kenya, on its part, is planning also to establish nuclear power plants. Is this a conversation that we are likely to pick up with France to help us with expertise as well as funding?
Absolutely. These are some of the areas that will be canvassed in the round table that will be focusing around this thematic area. So you're absolutely right.
You see, when you look at France, it was one of the countries, it was one of the first countries to recognize Kenya's independence back in 1963. But when you look at the trade between the two countries, this is heavily skewed towards France. As the Minister in charge of Foreign Affairs, what message are you going to pass to France to see how more they can deepen their investment in Kenya?
I think we are closing in. It's almost evenly balanced. Kenya has made some very significant advances in the sense that we are able to export primarily to Europe. It's one of our biggest destinations, and France is one of the countries that is party to this. And also some of their, as you heard earlier when the ambassador was speaking, there are close to 200 French companies that have invested in this country. All right, so that is significant. But apart from that, Kenya signed the EPA, the Economic Partnership Agreement with the European Union. And France is a member of the European Union. So the benefits that are defined in the EPA to allow quota-free and to allow duty-free access to the market in Europe includes France. So it is for us now to capitalize on that framework and be able to move forward.
And of course, when you look at the portfolio of the product that we export to France or to Europe, it's primarily agricultural raw product. There will be a meeting between investors, business people, as well as policy makers. What kind of conversations do you expect to come out of that meeting?
The conversation we want is that we want more manufacturing done in Africa. We want more value addition done in Africa. This is really the conversation we should be having. All right? It's not just about extraction. It's not just about extraction of raw materials, whether mineral or agri-waste. We want to be able to send a message that we want more manufacturing of pharmaceuticals. We want more manufacturing of different products. We want more manufacturing taking place on the African continent so that we create more jobs here. All right. We want to export more rather than have more people migrating to Europe. It should be our commodities that should be crossing the seas to the markets in Europe. That is what we want to achieve.
And of course, the French President Emmanuel Macron will be coming to Kenya with a delegation of more than 200 investors. And Kenya has established the PPP Directorate, whereby it is offering ready for investment a project. Do we have ideas of projects that we are willing to market to the French?
I think in the thematic areas that we talked about, there are several opportunities that will be made available for conversation. And our Ministry of Trade and Investment is well placed to drive this conversation. And I'm sure at the end of the business forum, there'll be some announcements where some partnerships have been conceived, and we'll be looking forward to good progress. So I think there'll be a lot of opportunity. What is also important is that this is an opportunity for the private sector, business-to-business conversation to take place. All right? It's not just about business and government. the framework that we are creating under the business forum is for the businesses to engage directly, face to face. In Kiswahili they say ana kwa ana, bega kwa bega.
Very well. Let's also talk about one of President Dr. William Ruto's pet project, that is restructuring the global financial structures. I know this is also one of the topics that is going to be discussed here. What do you expect to come out of that conversation, or what do we expect to tell French investors?
I think we want Africa to be rated properly. They have been looking at Africa as a high-risk investment destination. Sometimes the world rating agencies tend to rate us from their perspective. So we want Africa, Kenya included, to have fair and realistic ratings. Our asset base sometimes has been undervalued when you are rating Africa and African countries. So these are things that need to be corrected. We want to be able to get African countries to access more in terms of green financing. This is important. And above all, we would like Africa to be able to access the international markets at interest rates that are not punitive to the African nations. Yes.
And of course, I mean, you're having, tens of heads of state from Africa also coming in for this meeting, and I know the African Union has been pushing to have a table in the United Nations. Is this also a conversation that you're likely to advance with France being one of the permanent members of the UN?
Yes, in the peace and security conversation, there'll be a round table on peace and security. We are going to advance our interests on how we would wish the United Nations to be reformed, so that it is more inclusive and so that it recognizes Africa better. As you know, Kenya is a member of the Committee of 10, the C10 nations for the African Union, whose responsibility is to champion the reform of the UN Security Council, so that Africa can have two permanent seats on the UN Security Council. So this is one of the areas that we shall be canvassing.
And of course, the 2 days that this meeting is going to be here, what should Kenyans expect at the end of this meeting?
I think what we need to expect here is that one, we are laying the foundation for durable and sustainable partnerships, and we want a program that will evolve, and so that after a 5-year period, 10-year period, and so forth, we can see very, very serious expanded investments on the African continent, but more so for Kenya. I think the thing we need to advise our people is that this is a build-up to bigger things. Sometimes people tend to say, we want instant coffee. This summit is not about instant coffee. This summit is about creating an opportunity for sustainable, long-term engagement for the Kenyan people, so that jobs can be created. We can have more income on the African continent and for Kenya. And we can then uplift the livelihood of the citizens of this country.
And finally, before I let you go, Bwana Waziri, at the end of this meeting there will be the Nairobi Declaration, which will be a document that is going to contain the aspirations of this meeting. What do you expect to be in that document?
First of all, before we go there, if we were to just look at it also in terms of growing tourism, okay, and the number of delegates that will be in town, this is also very important for us in terms of the service industry, the resources that they will leave here as people who are visiting Kenya and Nairobi for maybe the first time for some of them.
Yeah.
So there are some immediate spin-offs, but we want to look more at the long term. I think what I expect from the declaration is a firm and united and more coherent African narrative. All right? We have to tell our story. We have to define our objectives. We have to tell the world where we want to go. Okay? And to me, this is what should be the anchor of our declaration. It's not about Africa being told what to do. We are now of age as a continent. We must now define our priorities. We must now shape our partnerships. Okay, so this is really what I believe should be weaved into the declarations that come out of it.
Very good. Anything else we need to hear from you?
I think what I would say is that the teams, that is the Kenyan team through the Ministry of Foreign and Diaspora Affairs, has worked very well with their French counterparts, and I want to commend all these teams for working tirelessly to bring this together, and also for the whole of government approach, which has enabled interaction, multi-agency approaches to ensuring that this convention, this summit, the Africa Forward Summit, succeeds. Yes.
Very good. And of course, we must appreciate the fact that it's a very well organized event, and of course, there's a lot of work that has gone behind the scenes to ensure that this meeting becomes a success.
Absolutely.
We appreciate your time, and thank you very much indeed for swinging by and talking to us, Bwana Waziri.
Thank you.
Very good. Well, we've been talking to the Prime Cabinet Secretary and the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Dr. Musalia Mudavadi, and of course helping us understand what is at stake for Kenya when it comes to organizing the Africa Forward Summit, which is being hosted by Kenya and France. Remember, Kenya Broadcasting Corporation is the official broadcaster for this meeting, and of course we have lined up an extensive coverage of this meeting to ensure that you are updated on what's happening here. My name is O'Brien Kimani. Thank you very much for your time.
And a good morning to you. My name is Daniel Wahome, and we are with the continuing coverage of the Africa Forward Summit that is taking place in Kenya. This is a summit that would normally involve Francophone-speaking countries hosted in a Francophone African country or in France, but Kenya is hosting this event for the very first time. We've had, just to take you through the program this morning, there was the business forum of the Inspire and Connect Africa Forward, and this was to address the strategic framework for the Business and Industry Forum and the Africa Forward Summit that was hosted earlier this morning by the Prime Cabinet Secretary, who is also Cabinet Secretary for Foreign Affairs, the Honorable Musalia Mudavadi. And also we have had an opportunity for the high-level youth engagement sequence where His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Arap Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and His Excellency Emmanuel Macron were the two hosts for that high-level summit. And remember, the key areas around this summit, number one, we've got heads of state and government. They're convening at the highest diplomatic level, so there are going to be conversations around that. The African Union, it's ensuring a Pan-African representation, and this is in alignment with the Agenda 2063 priorities. The European Union, France is a part of the EU, and so they're looking at how they can partner through trade, investment, and also different level multilateral cooperation frameworks. International financial institutions, the African Development Bank, the World Bank, the International Finance Corporation, the IMF, all coming together for this. We've got private sector CEOs, 30 of them leading executives, and there is a business forum that is running at just about now. So that is another one. Civil society organizations and youth leaders, all who are focused on shaping the future. And anytime you try and engage the youth today, one of the things is technology and the usual buzzword AI. So there is the CEO and business leader talks. So you've got ministers and investors. They're looking at industrial sovereignty for Africa, not just the extractive way of doing things, but ensuring that there is value addition to the mineral wealth and also agricultural products coming from the country, so that those are there, the value chains, innovation and investment. And when you take a look at this, think of food security, fertilizers, agro industry. When it comes and putting it together, you've got logistics, manufacturing, the digital infrastructure, ensuring that there's skills, energy, entrepreneurship, and there is a big conversation, especially about bringing in nuclear power. France is a huge consumer of nuclear power, and I'm talking at nuclear from an energy perspective, and if that is a model that can be adopted by those. There is the cultural and creative industry, and think of film, music, fashion, gaming, heritage, and digital content. This has been one of the biggest areas that France, over the years, has leveraged on culture and spaces. So you can see that they really want to invest and involve the people of Africa, especially when it comes to the culture and creative industries. Music from Francophone-speaking countries, think of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The music from that country, it's shaped an entire generation, and that is one of the things that is there. So there's going to be that, and we're also going to see those who are involved in the creative economy, Morena Makwana and Stavros Nicolaou from Biovac and Aspen. This afternoon, live on KBC Channel 1, there's going to be demonstration of sports. And if you take a look at Kenya, for example, they've had a close relationship with France over the last 3 years, and this was in the build-up to the Paris Olympics 2024. Miramas. It was a city where Kenya set up their primary camp, especially for the sprinters and for those in technical sports. And a lot of young people went through there. We know Ferdinand Omanyala was there. And from the different countries that opted to use Miramas, Kenya had the biggest impact. And so through sport, there's definitely going to be a lot of conversations at the high-level dialogue. That's going to be the first part of it, around 2 o'clock. And Africa as a sports field serving sustainable development, and Africa as a field of investment, innovation, and growth through sport. Not just the human talent. They always say you can't teach an African hand-eye coordination. We grow up with that all the time. So we expect the French Minister for Sport and the Kenyan Minister for Sport, the Honorable Salim Mvurya, and President Ruto and Macron to be involved in this high-level dialogue, and other personalities, including CAF President Dr. Patrice Motsepe, who's going to be attending this summit, came into the country today. He's going to be here. And remember, Kenya is one of the co-hosts of the AFCON 2027 alongside Uganda and Tanzania. It's known as the Pamoja AFCON. And after that, there's going to be a sports celebrities from football, basketball, athletics, and they are all going to be there. Demonstration sports, and so we're waiting to get that list confirmation of those who are going to be attending. So what's going to be happening is that there's going to be a 5x5 basketball. We've got Nairobi City Thunder, think of Dennis Ogechi, Ariel Okar, all involved at that to teach the young people the basic skills of basketball, football, FKF, and people like Blaise Matuidi, Lee, all expected to be there to hand over that. And there's going to be a 6x6 football game. The two presidents, Ruto and Macron, will also be having a chance to take a penalty each. have a go at a free throw in basketball, and there is also going to be a run of about 6 kilometers, Kenya being an athletics country that has been organized. And there's going to be also conversations happening that in the afternoon, and this is for CEO and business leader talks. So that will be continuing after the lunch break that takes place this morning. There's a presentation of flagship partnerships that's going to be taking place also, so look out for that. And then later in the evening, there's going to be closing remarks summarizing the forum outcomes and key commitments and the bridge to day 2 of that event. Later tonight, there's going to be a dinner, official state dinner, that's going to be hosted by the President of the Republic of Kenya for heads of states and governments and other distinguished delegates. And so the speakers will be President Ruto, President Macron, and other heads of state and government. We've seen President Alassane Ouattara of Cote d'Ivoire is already here. And that is what we're going to be taking a look at. And remember also that there is a lot of security conversations around security, the sovereignty of energy, and investing in human capital. So that is a big conversation on day 1 of the summit. And also today, from the KBC perspective, we're going to be looking at the Huduma Center and KBC and Huduma Center. You can get KBC services at a Huduma Center. So that's going to be one of those. And there is the official launch of the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation services in Huduma Centers. So this is going to be overseen by the State Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Investments and Assets and Asset Management. KBC is now a government-owned enterprise after the passing of the Act last year. So, and also Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Investments and Asset Management, Mr. Cyril Wagunda, is going to be speaking. That's a keynote address. And also the Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Service and Human Capital Development, Dr. Jane Kere Imbunya. That is one event that we are waiting to start, and that should be going, we should be getting ready to welcome them in just a short while. But at the moment, it's the pleasantries, the cutting of the ribbon at the KBC counter, and cutting and some entertainment before we move on to that stage. The Connected Africa Summit, I know everyone saying, what's the big thing? It's all about what's going to be happening tomorrow. And when the opening statements are made, including by the chairperson of the African Union, His Excellency President Evariste Ndayishimiye of Burundi, and Antonio Guterres, the Secretary General of the United Nations, President Emmanuel Macron of France, and President William Ruto of Kenya. They will all be making that, and it's going to be a full day of plenary sessions that involves head of states and captains of industry. As part of what we'll be covering for you today, Bernard Okumu is at the University of Nairobi Sports Grounds. Bernard Okumu, give us an update on how preparations are going for the basketball, athletics, and football events we're going to be having later today.
At the university, and definitely there you can number of, but aside my friend from Kipran camp, so athletes will be running later on. But maybe to just begin, I have a long distance running track legend here, the first African woman to hold the world marathon record. She still holds the 25-kilometer record. She still holds the 30-kilometer record. Yeah. What more can I say? Two-time New York Marathon champion. Can I go on, Tekla?
I think you will reach tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Tekla, for your time. Indeed, accomplished a lot. Can I go on up to tomorrow? What does it mean when somebody just introduces with these powerful superlatives and adjectives?
I I think we have to shorten because we have many activities which is happening here. We are really happy because of the Kenya government to bring us the French government also for this partnership to see that the sports is in the forefront for everything. Yes.
Sure, and we're talking about the French government and the cooperation that's coming in. You are at the center of the AFD cooperation, right? Your Tekla Lorupe Academy in West Pokot could never be anything if not with their support. True or false?
Well, I can say Kenya government, of course, they have played a big role, and also the French government through AFD. We have an academy whereby we've been supporting the kids from a conflict area. Through the AFD, we have 3 kids. We have Lona who have supported this country last year, and Chirende this year cross country. It was through their support from AFD that they were able to compete. And this girl, she's from a rescue team, and she was supposed to be married. But I want to thank the Kenya government because of the support, and the AFD because of their support, and also education-wise. We are not working only of sports. We work with education, with balanced education and sports.
Maybe just quickly, what impact created this particular cooperation, the Kenyan government, the AFD, and as well as your academy there? What kind of impact has it created in the community?
The change of perspective of the people when community see that there is support, that their parents cannot sell their land to educate their kids, and somewhere supporting, it has brought unity very close for us with the French government and the Kenya government. And especially our school, when the ambassador of France came all the way to West Pokot, where many people they fear to come to Pokot, but he came to see the project, if the project was working. And today you can see the project is in the television, which is good, and it has bring a lot of, we see ourselves in the world map. Yeah.
I was there in 2009 during the Tekla Lorupe run. Are we going to see the run back again?
I tell you, I'm going to ask the president of Kenya to support me for the November peace run.
This is the opportunity, say it.
This is the opportunity for the November Tekla Lorupe peace run in Kabenguria. And in August, we are going to have the World Kids Athletics in our school. Welcome and come and support us.
Yes, indeed. And maybe just to remind them that Kenya holds the record for the World Kids Athletics, right? And it began last week.
Yeah, it began also in West Pokot, and it came through Tekla. So we are looking forward.
Thank you so much, Tekla, and all the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, KBC, for supporting all the programs that our country has run.
Yes, thank you so much, Tekla. She said that if I was doing the introduction, then I could have never finished. 2-time New York Marathon champion. She holds the 25-kilometer record, and she also holds the 30-kilometer record, the first woman to win the marathon. And of course, and talking about legends, I'm pleased and glad and chuffed as well at the same time to have Kenya.
All right. So we apologize for that technical hitch. And Bernard Okumu at the moment speaking with IOC member Paul Tergat. We should be getting back there once all this is settled. And remember also that KBC is launching a partnership with the Huduma Center. So let's get to see the partnership that is there, because you can get all the services. Think of Matangazo. If you want to lodge commercials, that is something that you can do. We can take a quick pick, Jacqueline, if we are ready, and see what's going on at the Huduma Center in at Makadara. That's where it's being launched today. A partnership between KBC and Huduma Center. also. We also have got the Principal Secretary, State Department for Public Health. And so they should be ready now to get going with this, the announcement of this partnership that is taking place at the Huduma Center in Makadara. For Makadara. So they're all getting ready for this, and so it's just going to be in order as you'll to see members of KBC's senior management, the editor-in-chief, Mr. Samuel Minor, radio programs manager Mary Daraja. And so they are all present so that this can be launched. Mr. Bulinda, who is the administration manager, also in attendance as this partnership is launched. And the whole partnership is about ensuring that you do not necessarily have to come to broadcasting house for you to access KBC services. So as we get to the formal part of it, remember it all started with entertainment and the cutting of the ribbon. So trying to think of KBC services, it would be the commercials that you'd want to load. If you want to buy airtime, if you want to have the programming done, you can always do that. For those who want to make casual announcement, or as they would say in Swahili, matangazo maalum, then you can now do that through any Huduma Center in the country once this is launched. And if you would also want to do the funeral announcements, the Swahili phrase for it that is known is matangazo ya vifo, you can do it at any Huduma Center across the country. And remember, it's not just for Radio Taifa in English or for the KBC English, Radio Taifa in Swahili and the KBC English service. That's English. There are other services. If you would like to access services in Mombasa, out in Mombasa, you can do it for Pwani FM. It serves the coastal region. And there are also other services that KBC has got that the services you can get through the Huduma Center. We can start with Mwato FM, which serves the Kamba language. Minto, Shoro, Kitwek, Nosim, Mwago, Ngemi, and Iftin, the Somali service, Mayenga, and Ingo. So a whole load of 13 stations that you can do that. Meanwhile, as we wait to get back to the Huduma Center, we head back to the University of Nairobi grounds, where Bernard Kumu is getting ready for this afternoon's demonstration of sport. We're taking a look at basketball, athletics, and football. Over to you, Bernard Kumu.
Joanne is a teacher, Joanne Kosgei, right? She's a teacher at Singored Girls, and you're also in partnership with Bring Up New Talents at Kipran, right? Why is that? Why is it so?
It is motivating and very impressive to have the young talents, because most of the athletes, when they are identified at an elite level, we usually have that, we forget that the young talents are the ones which will break the record one day, one time. Yeah.
And do you see that in the current camp that you have? Do you see future world record holders, world beaters, Olympic champions?
Yes, I am very sure because most of my athletes represent us up to the national level and even up to international level. Yeah.
I know it will be a mock run, just like a demonstration run, but what should you expect from them?
I expect the best from them, both boys and girls.
Nice. Yeah. Thank you so much, Madam Joanne, right, and all the best.
Thank you so much. You're welcome.
Jina lako nani?
My name is Dennis Kiplagat from Trans Internet Academy. Yeah, I would like to thank Kipran because it's a company that grew up to help other people like us that we came from different backgrounds. Like now, if you can see those people, they're from different backgrounds. Many of them, they are not be able to help themselves. But because of Kipran, I can thank Lord because now we are looking the same. You will not know if someone is coming from that is a small background, but now we are the same. Yeah.
Na wewe unakimbia mbio gani, and how is this important? Wewe kukuja hapa na labda utakimbia, how hungry does it make you?
I'm running 3,000 meters. I've come here to showcase my talent, to see how am I going to perform. Yeah.
Nice one. Thank you so much. Just come this side so that the next one. Vipi mambo, unaitwa nani?
My name is Hazel Jepto from Singore Girls and Kipran Management.
Singore Girls uko form?
I'm in Form 3.
On scholarship ya Kipran?
Yes.
Unakimbia mbio gani?
1500 meters.
Wewe kuwa hapa inamaanisha nini kwako, na labda watu watarajie dash, sprint ama?
I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the committee who organized this race. It will enhance to nurture our talents and develop it and become better people in future. Yes.
What are your dreams? What do you want to target? I mean, I know you're surrounded by champions. I don't know what else what magic can you do, but what are your dreams?
My dream is to break 1500 meters, the record of Faith Kipyegon, my athletic mentor. Yes.
How soon?
Some years to come.
Some years to come. Thank you so much. All the best.
Thank you.
Maybe one word for all the upcoming athletes, young like you who are dreaming. What do you tell them?
To train hard so that they can win easy in future.
Yeah. And how do you balance books and running?
This is through Madam Joanne. He used to encourage us to study and as well as to train. Yeah.
Thank you so much. All the best, right? I want to meet you in the studios or in the field, conquering the world, right?
Yes.
Okay, great. Jambo. Yes, maybe just begin by your name and tell me how excited are you, and as well as the runners who are here, 29 of them from Kipran.
Okay, my name is Sharon Suter. I'm a teacher and a coach at Singore Girls High School, and I'm happy and excited today to participate in this summit. I would like to appreciate the organizers for organizing such an event. Yeah.
Yes, and maybe what potential do the athletes that are here hold when you see that, and also the cooperation with French now looking forward to Africa, trying to embolden the collaborations as well as the partnerships. What does it present to the young athletes, such collaborations and partnerships?
Yeah. So to me, I'm seeing these athletes are future champions. And for the France fraternity, we thank them for coming today so that these athletes can show their talents. They can live their talent. Yeah.
Yes, indeed. So do you have a timeline of when we're going to see this particular camp producing and shining on the global stage? Talk to two athletes and they're saying they are hungry, they can't wait.
We know that no human is limited. And the way Sebastian broke the record, we believe that it is soon. It is soon.
And what's the philosophy that is the fuel that runs Kipran camp?
We run to win.
We run to win. All the best.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And lastly, from Kipran, Jambo.
Salama sana.
Unaitwa nani?
Yes, middle distance, 10 kilometers, 3,000 cross country.
Nimeongea na 1 minute, 2 minutes. Still holds record. She still holds 30. I mean, wewe unafikiri unaivunja lini?
Kama Tegla Lorupe, she's our mentor. She's from Homeland,
and she really helps us.
Kapenguria.
Yes, I'm from Kapenguria. Ametufungulia mlango. Sisi kukimbia, ni yeye ndio alianzisha, ndio tukaona. So yeye ndio the best and we are following her steps. Yes.
Kwa hivyo una feel kwamba pia uko na majukumu mengi kwa mabega yako kama Tekla ya kufanya zaidi alivyofanya?
Yeah, niko na matumaini tutafika mbali na nitasaidia wengine.
Yes, na wewe kuku hapa labda inamaanisha nini kwako na hii partnership ya French?
Kuku hapa kama nimekuja kama athletes partnership na Kipran from France and Kipran is the best.
Kidogo tu ambia watu race yako ya mwisho ilikuwa wapi, ulikuwa namba gani na gani nyingine?
Hii mwaka nilikisha 10 kilometers, nikakimbia PP ya 38 and nikakimbia indoors, niko na 3000 meters 851 and 15-17. Yeah.
Who are you doing the best? No, just trying. But now what next? What race are you looking for?
Yeah, I'm looking for I'm preparing for track like Diamond Leagues. Maybe, yeah, I will.
Diamond Leagues, are you going to be in Doha this month?
No, not this. Yeah, I'm
Rabat?
getting. Yeah.
All the best. Thank you so much. Indeed. They keep it's a big run. So just quickly, Tekla, you're saying Jambo. Tekla, maybe you can just take a chance and introduce her. Caribbean.
Okay. This is our girl sponsored by AFD. She was nobody, but now she represents the country.
Unaenda kuwakilisha, unaitwa nani?
My name is Lona Cherono.
Labda unaenda kuwakilisha Kenya katika mashindano gani? Unakimbia mbio gani?
Nakimbia 5000 na 3000.
Nini hasa chamba kilifanya ukaanza kukimbia?
Nilifanya tu training na kujitia moyo.
Na wewe kwamba FD sasa umekushika mkono pamoja na Tekla Lorupe inamaanisha nini? Una feel aje sasa baada ya kwamba mambo yanaenda kuwa mazuri?
Nazisikia vizuri.
Na unataka ukue nini? Unataka ukue nini katika miaka ijayo hivi karibuni, kesho kutwa?
Nataka nikuwe champion kama Tekla Lorupe.
Asante. Nataka kuwe champion. Kila laheri. Thank you so much. Yes, indeed, and meeting legends and also the policy makers in this particular field, and it can never get better than this. Thank you so much, the Olympic Committee of Kenya, NOC President, Mr. Shadrack Maloki. Thank you so much for your time. And we know that NOC began the France-Africa partnership before, which was a good thing, Yes.
Thank you so much. I'm excited today because the journey we started 2024 has culminated into us hosting the first ever this Francophone summit in a non-Francophone speaking country. It started with National Olympic Committee of Kenya signing an MOU with the Miramas, and this was just to ensure that we have an haven for Team Kenya to train during the Paris Olympics, where I was the chef de mission. And it started through that partnership with the mayor of Miramas, and now we can see where it has brought us. And it's a journey. It's a journey, and we are happy that we are walking through this journey, and we are happy that we can see it's yielding some fruits.
Indeed, Mr. President. And yesterday I did see the mayor of Miramas is in the country. What's on the brief? What's on the table?
Thank you so much. Yes, the mayor of Miramas is here. We had a meeting yesterday. We hosted him as the National Olympic Committee of Kenya, just to ensure that we continue with the journey we started. He's part of the entourage from the French government, accompanying the president of France, Mr. Macron. And yes, it's a big day. It's a really, really big day. I'm excited. And yesterday, we all talked about even deepening the cooperation, deepening in the sense that we need to, the two governments now that they come together to ensure that sports is on the table. Sports is first. Is the key to this, because it is what initially initiated all these things. So sport is the key to go. It's bigger than governments.
Yes, indeed. session there will be discussion. Africa is the future. Sport field. How can the Africa take advantage of this particular meeting? The French government of France is meeting the policy makers as well as leaders of government. How can we take advantage of these particular deliberations that come from such high level meetings?
There's a lot to take advantage of this, because first and foremost, the talent. We've got plenty of, and the France government is full of that. Once we have the infrastructure right, believe you me, we're going to see a lot of talents, not only in athletics, not only in boxing, not all talents. And this is where we talk about infrastructure playing the center role of developing and nurturing talent. Yes.
In terms of AI and also the application of sports science, these the areas that maybe we need a hand a little bit.
Exactly. I mean, ideally, as you have just pointed it, we need sports science to excel, because now it's not about raw talent. We've seen ourselves losing steeplechase, a sport which we all knew it was ours. But due to application of science, steeplechase is here, is almost gone. But we need now to employ sports science to reclaim our superiority. Yes.
What does NOC have? What kind of questions does NOC have for today's session?
The NOC doesn't have questions, it has proposals. We have proposals that we need to give to our partners so that we can see in which areas we need to go.
What are these key areas? Maybe one or two, Mr. President.
The key areas is, as you have just mentioned, sports science. That is actually a key area, and AI. Those are the key areas that we need to really kind of touch on it and ensure that we excel. Yeah.
All the best, and taekwondo is also doing, judo is also doing very well. Yeah. Congratulations. Zedi, unbeatable.
Yes,
the future is brighter.
Future is very bright.
Thank you so much. Yes, that's Mr. Shadrach Maluki, the president of National Olympic Committee of Kenya, saying that as sports science takes precedence, and so we will also be talking to the deputy vice president of National Olympic Committee, who is also in charge of youth development. That's in Athletics Kenya, Barnabas Korir. Jambo. It's a beautiful day in Africa today.
Yes, this is really a very important day for us as a country, to welcome people from diverse backgrounds, different countries, specifically as we focus on the sports. Apart from the business that we're dealing with, the visitors who are coming here, we are now focusing on the sports, and particularly also athletics, bearing in mind that the performance of others have done so well, both in athletics, football, and various other federations that we have in this country.
We've seen previously Team Kenya, camping in Miramas, especially the sprinters, the long distance always going later on. But we've seen 2020 Tokyo, 2024 Paris, Kenyan contingent, the advanced party heading to Miramas, and this particular partnership looks like it will go on for some time to come. How important has this been for the Kenyan athletes and in context of the performance?
Honestly, I'm very proud of what has happened, because the initial contract that we had with Miramas was when we sent the youth team to go and train there, especially the sprinters and field events. We started doing that for 2 years, and eventually now we realized that also we needed a place to train for the team that was going to Paris Olympics. And we also brought the same idea to National Olympic Committee, to have a team that will train there, because we had rugby, we had volleyball going there. And it was really a fantastic idea. From there, the whole game started now picking up. National Olympic Committee picked up the idea, and other federations. And you can see the fruit that has borne. We started from Athletics Kenya. Now it is a national, international program that we are joining together to continue with the program that we started, and now is taken over by other federations and also the governments.
Sure, we've seen the national women's football team was supposed to camp there before the tournament. The outcome that was supposed to happen in March was postponed, but we've seen more other bodies or federations copying that. Maybe just to remind them, what is needed for them through these partnerships? How do they benefit?
The partnership, we are really benefiting, because to start with, in athletics, the Miramas team already started the training for coaches here in Iten, in Kenya. And that's how we started. Now you see that the team for football is being done also in Miramas. And we are talking about also Youth Olympics that is coming up in October. And we'll have a team that will go also there to prepare. So this is really a fantastic idea. And we are proud that the two governments are coming together to integrate and see how we can actually move forward to ensure that we build on what we have already started.
Indeed. Thank you so much, Mr. Barnabas Correa. I know that we'll be having more times to speak to the policy makers as well as those who sit at the table to make decisions on behalf of the Kenyan sport. Well, definitely haven't asked him how AI or sports medicine is important to the Kenyan sports today, especially as we chase or try to recoup the lost glory in as far as the 3,000 meter steeplechase is concerned. We've heard from Mr. Shadrack Maluki, the National Olympic Committee president, saying that looks like now it's no longer a matter of altitude and talent, it's a matter of sports science now. So what will be happening will be developed. Of course, what's coming up from these particular sessions here, that the session that's expected to begin anytime from now, will be some of the recommendations that African or Kenyan government will be keen on implementing. Thank you so much. I take you back to the studio, Bernardo Kumu at the Nairobi University grounds.
Thank you very much, Bernardo Kumu at the UN grounds. And remember, this is all about the Africa Forward Summit 2026. France and Africa having conversations that are there. And right now, let's go over to Makadara. KBC is launching their partnership with Huduma Center. Tilio Bako is our reporter. Let's move over.
Thank you so much, Wahome. And we are coming to you live from Huduma Center at Makadara, Nairobi County. And it's going to be a historic day today for KBC, as it is going to sign an agreement with Huduma Kenya that is going to ensure seamless service delivery to the public. And with me now to tell us about this agreement, what exactly is going to achieve, what role KBC is going to play, and what role Huduma Center is going to play, is Jackie Aseka, who is KBC's brand manager. Thank you so much, Aseka, and tell us about it.
Thank you very much. Well, this partnership is actually timely. It has come at the right time because KBC over the years has been able to educate, entertain, and inform Kenyans. However, as things change, it's important that we reach Kenyans from their grassroots, from where they are. So this partnership is just not any other partnership, but a partnership where we are engaging Kenyans, we are reaching Kenyans from their location, regardless of their economic capability, regardless of their circumstances. So KBC and Huduma Kenya are partnering today. This is a great milestone where Kenyans are able to access KBC services from whichever location. If you are in Lodwar, for example, you are able to access Kenyans services, able to access Huduma Kenya's services within your reach. So this is a milestone that we are, and thank you very much to our who've come together.
Well, we apologize for that technical hitch coming through from Makadara, where KBC is launching a partnership with the Huduma Center to ensure that we've got services that are being offered. And so remember, I mentioned that it's not just KBC Channel 1, there are other platforms, Wired 254, Radio Taifa, the English service. We also, if I was to go around the radio stations that are here, think of Moto FM, Minto FM, Shoro FM, Kitwek FM, Mwago, Ngemi. Go around, we've got Nosim, which is the Maasai language station. You've got Ingo, that definitely tells you where it comes from. Mayenga, serving the Luo speaking segment of this country. We've got Iftin, which takes care of the Somali community. We also have got our eastern services, Burji, Borana, Rendile, and also Turkana. So we've got all those services all wrapping up for you. We've got the western services, which take care of the Kuria and also the Teso-speaking communities of Kenya, and in Mombasa we've got Pwani FM, and it takes care of the coast. They broadcast in Swahili and a variety of languages that you'd find in the coastal region. So all the services, commercials, casual announcements, funeral announcements, yes, and even if you want to have paid for content, then you can do it at Huduma centers across the country once this is officially launched. And remember, it's also the time that we are having the Africa Forward Summit, Kenya being the first the Anglophone-speaking country to host this summit that is all about relationships between France and Africa. So energy, one of the things that everyone is going to be talking about, green industrialization and energy transition. Can this country move away from fossil fuels or what we've got to other more green forms of energy? And there's a conversation about nuclear energy. So how is that going to be done? International financial architecture. Can African countries have access to sustainable financing? And you had the Prime Cabinet Secretary when in conversation with O'Brien Kimani speaking about the credit rating of the Republic of Kenya. How is it done? Is it viable? Is it how it should be? Or should somebody think of a different way of doing that? So there's a lot, there's going to be conversations around that. Expect Mukhtar Diop, head of International Finance Corporation. He was also World Bank Country Director in Kenya some time back. There's Musa Faki, Special Envoy Pact for People, Prosperity and the Planet, and Odile Renaud Basso, who's the President of the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development. So, and also think of insurance, because we've got Sidi Ould Tah, who's the President of the African Development Bank. So keeping up with all of that, peace and security, very important. Everyone knows what's happening in the Sahel, so that is going to be there. The Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, is going to be there. Mahmoud Ali Yusuf, AU of the chairperson of the AU Commission, and you've also got Bola Tinubu, President of the Republic of Nigeria, and Sheikh Ul Ghazwani, who's President of Mauritania, are expected to give their stories about this and making sure that Kenya is there. And remember, all these deliberations, the people overall are His Excellency Dr. William Samoei Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and His Excellency Emmanuel Macron, President of France. So all those conversations are going to be there. And there's also, parallel conversations on what I'll call, artificial intelligence and how this is going to be happening. And we expect President Paul Kagame and President of Rwanda and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who's the President of Egypt, to be leading some of these conversations. The blue economy is another conversation that will be on tomorrow evening as the moderators, including President Bassirou Diomaye Faye of Senegal, is going to be one of those who are going to be leading that. And the financing, making sure that there's a digital hub linking West Africa, East Africa, basically the entire region. There's the segment on health, and this is something that everyone's having about. How do we make sure that you've got a healthy population, financing, transfer of knowledge, and making sure that there's that. Agriculture, the farming, framing the investment case for agriculture, and the president of the ECOWAS Commission, Dr. Omar Toure, is part of that conversation. And how this happens, especially the value chain sequence and market access, plus how you make sure that you've got access. Europe has got very high standards, especially when it comes to considerations about pesticides that you use, fertilizers that you use. France, being part of Europe, has got to adhere to what the EU says. And also, how then do you minimize the cost that comes with, the carbon risk? The moment you transport fresh produce by plane, they look at the carbon emissions and what they mean for that. So that's going to be there. And then after that, there's going to be a closing ceremony that's going to be taking place tomorrow. President William Ruto, President of the Republic of Kenya, and President Emmanuel Macron of France are going to be giving a summary of all the thematic sessions that will have been held and a conclusion and a formal announcement of the outcome of the summit. They will then have a joint press conference tomorrow evening, and then from 9 o'clock, different things that everyone's got to be aware of. It's about all invited guests. There's an Africa Forward closing concert at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani. And when I do mention that, it means that if you are in Nairobi or making plans to come into Nairobi, you've got to be aware that there are traffic interruptions. For today, roads around the University of Nairobi, there's going to be a lot of interruptions because today's events are mainly around the University of Nairobi, which means traffic around Uhuru Highway, University Way, Kijabe Street, Harithiku Road may be interrupted for today. Tomorrow, when everything moves to the Kenyatta International Convention Center, there's going to be an interruption of traffic around the KICC, Parliament Road, Harambee Avenue, City Hall Way, and also take a look at Tamman Road. That area is also going to be there's going to be a lot of traffic closure. So only people who are accredited to attend the summit will be allowed in, and vehicles that have been accredited are the ones that will be around that. And remember, and due to the traffic of the delegates and those who are coming in, Mombasa Road is another of the roads that's going to be heavily affected. Also, with the concert taking place at the Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, tomorrow evening, expect traffic interruptions on Thika Road around this summit. So those are some of the key areas that we should be taking a look at when it comes to the Africa Forward Summit 2026 that Kenya is hosting. And while having different, with France, having conversations with the rest of the continent. So it's one shared agenda. There is the business forum, which is what we're looking at today. Over 1,500 business leaders and entrepreneurs and investors, business to business matchmaking. That's what we are looking at today, part of the conversations that are there. So you can see that there is quite a lot that's the conversations are going to be about. A very important one is tomorrow's, which is the summit, because today the focus is on the business forum, where you've got heads of state, the African Union, and over 30 CEOs having plenaries and round tables, plus a closing communique at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. So remember, for what we are going to be giving you this afternoon is mainly around the sports. So there's a big sports demonstration event and a high-level forum that's taking place. So at the moment, we'll be taking a short break. We'll be back with more from around the University of Nairobi and also the Huduma Center event, where KBC is launching that partnership.
Wagwan my guys, it's your boy Sean MMG. Skiza mage na tuko hapa Grapevine manze, good vibes ukitucheki hapa hivi.
Inspired by the story of Wayaki Wahinga, the musical play revisits the journey of one of Kenya's earliest symbols of resistance. Alchemist and Westlands transformed into a battleground of pure adrenaline as Anza MMA's Amateur Fight Night 008. Chris Barr brought smooth melodies and captivating stage presence, drawing the audience into a performance that felt both personal and powerful.
Kerere ni ya nini sasa?
Wewe ulipata wapi hiyo madaraka ya kufanya mpaka uongezee vitu bei?
Wewe acha kulalisha
matumbo na ugali 150 mpaka 8. Hiyo achana nayo. Kwambia ukua, ingia ndani ukua utakula.
Hata pesa yako ni pesa ngapi?
50 bob tu.
Yaani kwani wewe una uchanja ya Nairobi? Niko na kashita kadogo lakini unajua nikakupwa kwangu inakaa kama elephant lakini kwako ni kainsi.
Sina pesa.
Haya.
Unafanya nini? Unataka kuwekea watu sumu?
Halo. Nani diglo paje? Unaniangaliaje hapa na nabisha?
Aya.
Unaonyesha nani meno? Ukicheka tena na kuvunja, si ati nini? Ama unataka nikuvunje?
Weka mawe, weka.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check.
From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first.
You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Are you ready for the next big thing in tech? Well, we'll spotlight Kenya's brightest young minds, game-changing startups, and breakthrough technology that are shaping our future. From AI and robotics to sustainable futures, we bring you the stories behind the scenes. KBC Channel 1. Remember, tech starts here.
Lights on, volume up. This is where stories come alive. From local drama that hits close to home.
Huyu ni nani?
Alinivamia akiwa na vijana wengine wawili. Toka nje.
Hii nyumba yako. Yote ni porojo.
To international series everyone's talking about. Stories that pull you in. Characters you won't forget.
Stop complaining and just get out of here. Go now, go.
We turn up the volume with music that moves, showcases rising stars, and bring the beat straight to your living room. And when it's time to talk, we don't hold back.
How is everything going?
Real conversations, big personalities, the issues, the loves, the moment everyone's debating the next day. Every show, every night, different voices, one destination. This is television that feels alive, unpredictable, and missable.
All right. So, yes, that has been the morning of the first day. And remember, it's the business forum today, where, first of all, we had the Prime Cabinet Secretary, Honorable Musalia Mudavadi, getting us going for the business forum. We had a high-level youth engagement sequence, and that was led by His Excellency President William Ruto and His Excellency President Emmanuel Macron of Kenya and France, respectively. So that's what we've had. And in the afternoon, it's going to be all sports at the University of Nairobi grounds. Demonstration sports coming in the form of football, basketball, and also a cross-country run of about 5.6 kilometers or so. So it's a short loop of 2.7, 2.7, and a final 200-meter run towards the finish. So that's what we've got lined up for you this for the afternoon session. And tomorrow, it is the Africa Forward Summit, a full day's broadcast. My name is Daniel Wahome. Have a good day. Let's join our normal programming.
If he lives alone and something happens, there'll be no one to take him to the hospital.
How would we do it? We got one bedroom, a living room, and a sunroom. No matter what you do, that's it. How can we add another room?
Hi.
Hi.
Hi. You must be hungry. Lunch is almost ready.
Great.
Are you tired? Take a rest.
I'm fine. I mentioned to the dance club that you were coming. This is good for relaxing.
Oh yeah, from Andy Liu, a Bluetooth speaker. We use it for dancing. The sound quality is awesome.
Wagwan my guys, it's your boy Sean MMG. Skiza mage na tuko hapa Grapevine manze, good vibes ukitucheki hapa hivi.
Inspired by the story of Wayaki Wahinga, the musical play revisits the journey of one of Kenya's earliest symbols of resistance. Alchemists and Westlands transformed into a battleground of pure adrenaline as Anza MMA's Amateur Fight Night 008. Chris Barr brought smooth melodies and captivating stage presence, drawing the audience into a performance that felt both personal and powerful.
Nyosha mkono huko nje.
Kelele ni nini sasa? Wewe ulipata wapi hiyo madaraka ya kufanya mpaka uongezee vitu bei? Wewe acha kulalisha
matumbo na ugali. 150 mpaka 8. Hiyo achana nayo. Kwa mtu ukua, ingia ndani ukua utakula.
Hata pesa yako ni pesa ngapi?
50 bob tu.
Hani kwani wewe una uchanja ya Nairobi? Niko na kashita kadogo lakini unajua nikakupwa kwangu inakaa kama elephant lakini kwako ni kainsi.
Sina pesa.
Haya.
Unafanya nini? Unataka kuwekea watu sumu?
Halo. Nani diglo paje? Unaniangaliaje hapa na nabisha?
Aya.
Unaonyesha nani meno? Ukicheka tena na kuvunja, si ati nini? Ama unataka nikuvunje?
Vunja weka mawe, weka.
We officially commenced in mid-February last year, 25th of February. So we intend to complete the housing project by 15th of February 2027. Currently, we are at 48% progress and about 48% time.
Last year, the government came up with a program to onboard interns into the affordable housing program. As we are aware, we have a number of graduates who have completed their degree, their diploma, but they are out because they don't have something to do. So when the government came up with this program, it was targeting bringing these young graduates into the affordable housing program so that they can get something to do, learn skills which will be able to help them, and also to give them experience so that even after the end of the project, they can be employable in other entities.
This is a launch pad. It is not a stopgap. This internship. Do you understand what I'm saying? It depends on what you do with this moment. The dream is free. The hustle is not. Lazima ujitume. Yeah? Sindio? So, you guys, you have a moment of history in your hands.
For starters, this is my first time in a construction site. So I am here to learn basically from zero. From when I walk in through the gate to when I come into the office and when I start walking around the site, I am learning from scratch. And I'm getting to see the work as it happens, the work as it progresses. We're getting to see the houses being built. So it's really thrilling to know that we are part of the team that is building the nation towards houses that people, even us young people, one day can come and say, you know what, we were part of the team that built this and we are part of the team that delivered this to the nation.
Hapa kwa hii site, boma yangu Nyali Affordable Housing Program, nahusika na communities. Watu wakikuja kutoka huko nje wanakuja kuulizia hizi nyumba, jinsi gani watapata nyumba, na wakitaka nyumba wanaipata vipi. So watu wakikuja na waelezea, nyumba ziko divided into 3 categories, prices za hizo nyumba, chenye wanafaa kuwa nacho kupata hizi nyumba, na pia naenda na waonesha hizi nyumba venye zinakaa.
Before we began this project, this area was being used as a temporary dump. And when we came to do the surveys at the beginning, we saw a lot of youngsters who are not employed, who are smoking, doing drugs here. Currently, we don't have them. Few of those have been absorbed into the project and are being rehabilitated.
Ukitoka hapa nje ukikuta hapa vyokea usiku unapigwa ngeta, unaibiwa. Tunazaambia serikali bwana, mimi by the way nimekaa maisha nzuri kupitia hapa. So mimi kwangu imenifaidi sana, na si kwangu peke yangu. Kuna watu wengi sana wamefaidi na hii pesa ya hapa.
Voi Affordable Housing tulianza mwaka wa 2024 mwezi wa Julai, na mpaka sasa tumefikia 45% progress, tukiendelea kama mnavyoona katika majengo yote. Tuko na majengo 4 ambayo yote yamebeba nyumba 458.
There's a lot the interns can get from indulging with the affordable housing and this project. So they learn about leadership roles, the daily operations of a project. And a project is sort of a system. So we are exposing them to a large scope of works that are done within a duration of time.
Kwa penye tulikuwa tukisoma, mostly tunafunzwa theory, practical is just minimal. So ukikuja hapa kwa field kama hii, now you get to internalize it, to do the things that umefunzwa kwa theory. So it is actually helping us a lot. Iko kwa site, so ni groundwork. Una learn from the ground basis kupanda juu. So nikitoka huko nje, I'm very confident nitakuwa nimekuwa sana na nitapata kazi.
I've also learned how demographic and financial different income levels shapes different housing typologies. So I'm able to translate my knowledge from school and here, which is practical.
This project started on 3rd of February 2025, and we are expecting completion date to be 27th of July 2026.
Supervisors are really nice, really well. Wapo tayari kutufunza, kutuguide. This is a government initiative. Me being part of it, I'm very proud.
My work mostly supervising to maintain the site in terms of controlling and managing waste. We are straight from campus, and most of us have not gotten the experience for ground. The experience and skills that we've gotten going to help us a lot.
We are really working hard to make sure hii project inaenda through and inakuwa successful for all of this, for the benefit of the country and of the society and the community in general.
The experience is superb. I'm really enjoying. The most and the best part is that we have the engineers, the contractors who are engaging us in each day, whereby we are given tasks to run.
We engage them practically on site in terms of measurements when setting out, doing quality assurance in terms of taking design mix, slum tests, and we also engage them in our reports. Yeah, so they can gain whatever they've learned from the field, they can transfer it to the office space.
The site commenced on 4th November 2024 and is expected to be complete by 4th May this year. The internship program is giving some good experience.
Just like the president said the other day, this is a launch pad for the young people across the nation of Kenya. It's not a gap, but a launch pad to gaining more skills and even establishing our own consulting firms in the near future.
I mean, the safety department, making sure that people here are doing well, they are with their safety gear, they are with their helmets, There is experience and then there is money. That is the two key things.
Right now, I'm not called an engineer. I'm called Mr. Alex. But when you become a professional engineer, that's when you can call me Engineer Alex. Now, I have a chance for the Engineers Board of Kenya for me to go and tell them, I worked on this project, I have done this and this, so now I am ready for you to assess me and see whether I am fit to become an engineer.
Besides learning, they get to apply that which they have already learned. So it's helpful for us as the main contractor because we get a lot of supervisors to assist in the, it's a huge project. We've already actually identified a couple of them who, as the moment they joined, they are up to speed, they are knowledgeable enough. So we are hoping by the time the end of the intern, we should absorb, if not all, a few of them at least.
Hii mradi tulianza 2024 August na kufikia saa hii tumesukuma mjengo na vitu zile zingine. Tuko around we are almost hitting 75%. Tume-engage artisans. Wale unaita Jua Kali Association hapa Kitui. Watakuwa natufabricatea madirisha. Na ukiangalia si watu wa nje, ni watu ambaye ni wa Kitui County.
In a construction site, we have a lot of teams. There are teams that support the human resource. We have the engineers team. We have the safety team. And all these teams need qualified personnel. And that's why this internship has attracted a lot of professionals on site. Because in a site, we don't just have engineers only. We need the public health officers. We need a site manager. We need a human resource officer and such.
For us, the human resource management, we are here, first of all, to keep in check the workers who are working in this construction site, but those are working for the state and the contractor. And also, the record keeping. As you can see, this is a very busy place, and the records must be kept, both for the materials, the workers, and everything that happened in this site must be recorded. And that is one of my work.
This internship program is building my background experience in my fieldwork, whereby it will enhance my career path.
We have got the interns on site who are benefiting, getting the experience from the site. They are subdivided into a number of departments because in it, amongst them, we have got the lawyers, we have got the electrical engineers, we have got the mechanical engineers, we have got the accountants, we have got the environmentalists.
This internship has basically given us the front view on how to engage with different professionals. As for me, I've engaged with civil engineers, structural, quantity surveyors, the communication department, health and safety, and through them I've learned a lot, quite a lot.
Ideally, we have known communication to be something that people mostly work from the office, but so far I've been able to work with the different departments, one of them majorly being the safety department, where we're able to design several signboards and caution instructions that they need to put up on the site.
I'm a really proud citizen of this country to be taking part in such a great opportunity to build this country and create opportunities for many, many other people. Being part of the people that are serving this nation, it's an honor, it's a privilege.
Your Excellency, the President of the Nation of Kenya, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, thank you for this opportunity.
If he lives alone and something happens, there'll be no one to take him to the hospital.
How would we do it? We got one bedroom, a living room, and a sunroom. No matter what you do, that's it. How can we add another room?
Hi.
Hi.
You must be hungry. Lunch is almost ready.
great.
Are you tired? Take a rest.
I'm fine. I mentioned to the dance club that you were coming. This is good for relaxing.
Oh yeah, from Andy Liu, a Bluetooth speaker. We use it for dancing. The sound quality is awesome.
Wagwan my guys, it's your boy Sean MMG. Skiza mage na tuko hapa Grapevine manze, good vibes ukitucheki hapa hivi.
Inspired by the story of Wayaki Wahinga, the musical play revisits the journey of one of Kenya's earliest symbols of resistance. Alchemist in Westlands transformed into a battleground of pure adrenaline as Anza MMA's Amateur Fight Night 008. Chris Barr brought smooth melodies and captivating stage presence, drawing the audience into a performance that felt both personal and powerful.
Nyosha mkono huku nje.
Kelele ni ya nini sasa?
Wewe ulipata wapi hiyo madaraka ya kufanya mpaka uongezee vitu bei?
Wewe acha kulalisha.
Matumbo na ugali 150 mpaka 8. Hiyo achana nayo. Kwa mchana ukua, ingia ndani ukua utakula.
Hata pesa yako ni pesa ngapi?
50 bob tu.
Hani kwani wewe una uchanja ya Nairobi? Niko na kashita kadogo lakini unajua nikakupwa kwangu inakaa kama elephant lakini kwako ni kainsi.
Sina pesa.
Haya.
Unafanya nini? Unataka kuwekea watu sumu?
Halo. Nani kilo paje? Unaniangaliaje hapa na nabisha?
Aya.
Unaonyesha nani meno? Ukicheka tena na kuvunja, si ati nini? Ama unataka nikuvunje?
Vunja, weka mawe, weka.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Kenya.
Wake up with Good Morning Kenya, the morning show that's got it all.
We dive deep into issues shaping our country.
Youth are a voice of a nation.
What is the next step for the young people? Unpacking political landscape from Monday to Wednesday. We discuss family matters.
It is very important to guard your relationship.
And for your health,
someone doesn't wake up and they become an addict. It's in stages.
We've got you covered each and every Tuesday at 9 a.m.
Every Wednesday, it's all about the viewpoint.
A day in politics is like 1,000 years.
Unpacking the biggest stories of the week, getting you insights and getting you ready for your day.
And the package is not yet done. I get to fix your Thursday with some entertainment. Entertainment Thursday, it is. Good morning, Kenya.
We shape
your day.
Good Morning Kenya, every weekday morning on KBC Channel 1.
In a world where news is ever changing, staying informed is more important than ever.
Join us every week on News Check, your go-to show for the latest in current affairs, breaking news and in-depth analysis.
A warm welcome to KBC News Check. From politics to global events, we bring you content that matter to you.
We're not just speaking about the governance and how we want to see it, but want to actually participate.
Get your facts, hear from the experts, and really understand what is happening around you.
We need to change our system first. You have to do the impossible to make sure the message is home.
Stay ahead, stay informed, stay engaged.
Will these people, everybody agree?
Just listen to me.
Let's give him a chance to clear the air.
Catch News Check every Tuesday and Wednesday from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Only on KBC Channel 1.
Lights on, volume up. This is where stories come alive. From local drama that hits close to home.
Huyu ni nani? Alinivamia akiwa na vijana wengine wawili. Toka nje. Hii nyumba yako. Yote ni porojo.
To international series everyone's talking about. Stories that pull you in. Characters you won't forget.
Stop complaining and just get out of here. Go now, go.
We turn up the volume with music that moves, showcases rising stars and bring the beat straight to your living room. And when it's time to talk, we don't hold back.
How is everything going?
Real conversations, big personalities, the issues, the loves, the moment everyone's debating the next day. Every show, every night, different voices, one destination. This is television that feels alive, unpredictable, and missable.
Artificial intelligence that evaluates traffic and can prevent congestion. Autonomous flying vehicles that communicate with each other. It all sounds pretty cool, but do innovations like this really make travel better for us? What is the future of smart mobility? Today on Shift. 150 hours in traffic every year. That's the reality for the average person from London or Chicago. That's almost an entire week stuck in your car waiting. Congestion is a huge problem in many big cities, but what if we could leave the road behind altogether?
A startup from India is developing a flying taxi for two, barely larger than a conventional car.
So it might be a while before we can kiss the traffic jam goodbye. But another mobility revolution is on the cusp of a breakthrough. Fully autonomous robo-taxis are making an appearance in the streets of San Francisco.
Driverless cars like this one are a common sight here in famously tech-friendly San Francisco. Cameras, radar and LiDAR technology continuously scan the car's surroundings. The cabs use cloud-based map systems to navigate their way through the city. But the technology isn't perfect. Cars don't always wait where they should, and often stop when they get confused, blocking traffic.
I don't know why we're stopping.
Accidents have happened. One car crashed into a fire truck in San Francisco, sparking protest, especially amongst taxi drivers.
They are a menace. They stop unexpectedly. They actually have broken the law many times. We see them signal one way and then go another way.
Sharon Giovinazzo is more convinced. Her non-profit is partnered with an autonomous car provider. And for a blind person, no driver means no discrimination.
One of the things I found out with taxis and rideshare services, because I choose to have a guide dog to navigate the world, is they will leave me standing on the side of the street. And they will cancel rides even after they pull up and they see the dog. They don't want to have the dog in their vehicle. Whereas here, there's no opinion because there's no driver.
And autonomous vehicles can navigate traffic more smoothly than a human being, she says.
When you're like, or you know, that sudden stop that's made, or you know, you feel people swerving and people honking at you and not being able to see what's going on. It's fearful. It really is. I've never had one fear sitting in one of these. I just say that it's welcome to the future.
So far, robo-taxis are something of an experiment. And not all people in San Francisco want their city to be a test track. But it seems they are here to stay.